and her death. Jarvis Butts is charged with murder and sexually assaulting the missing teen. Prosecutors have been laying out their evidence in court to prove they have enough to take this case to trial. 7 News Detroit reporter Ryan Marshall joins us live from 36th District Court, where one final witness will continue on the stand this morning. And Ryan, this has been an emotional 3 days of testimony, and we know that this hearing could wrap up as early as today.
Welcome in, everybody.
Yeah, very emotional, up and down like a roller coaster. Good morning to you. Good morning, everybody out there. We've heard from 24 different people that have testified in this case. We've heard from family members. We've heard from subject matter experts. We've heard from local law enforcement. But we may be hearing from the courts soon about whether or not they are going to take this case to a full trial. Wednesday was day 3 of testimony in the Jarvis Butts preliminary hearing regarding the disappearance of 13-year-old teen ZIYAH Harris. Much of yesterday's testimony involved law enforcement officials and various experts. That included Wayne County's interim deputy chief medical examiner, Omar Reyes. He says he reviewed ZIYAH Harris's medical records.
Did you see anything in there that would have caused ZIYAH to die naturally?
No.
However, when the defense cross-examined him...
Is it your job to declare somebody as deceased? Typically?
Typically, I am the pronouncing doctor when we respond to a death on a scene.
Okay, so if you were to go and view something yourself and have personal knowledge of the circumstances surrounding the incident.
Correct.
Detroit Police Sergeant Shannon Jones also testified. She explained that when she inherited the case, there were immediate red flags.
Number one, she's never been missing before. There's been no updates on any of her social media, which is very uncommon for a young child or juvenile. They're addicted to those. There had been a last known contact that she had possibly met somebody, is what we were informed, that there was a text message.
Jones also...
Welcome in, everybody. Shout out to everybody in the building. So today we're going to be talking about ZIYAH Harris. She's a 13-year-old little girl who went missing last year to the date yesterday, January 9th, 2023. She was preyed on by a sicko that her aunt had 5 kids by. And a lot of people are saying that the family members knew more than what they're saying that they knew and stuff like that. It reminds me of the case with Jonathan. I forgot the guy's last name, but he also was dating a aunt, and he had access to the young teens of the family. They trusted him for whatever reason. So back on this guy, Butts, a whole new name. Yeah, he was walking around court like his butts was hurting. I'm telling you, I don't know if they jumped on this guy or what happened, but it definitely looked like he was in pain during this court proceedings. And one thing about it that's annoying is that a lot of the audio was bad. I've been following it for, a few days, but it's a lot of information about this case. The family have been talking. There's a lot being said. So we have a lot of things to go over. Welcome in, everybody. Shout out to BFF in the building. Thanks for coming in, Brian Lynn. Yes, long time no see. And Precious Pieces, welcome in. I see that you was in here another day that I missed you, so thank you so much for being here. So yeah, it's very disturbing, y'all. We're going to get right into it, but it's a couple of clips that I want to play. It's a couple of audio pieces that I want to play. Her father, he's since passed away since this happened. And from my understanding, this is her grandmother, Annette, is her grandmother who actually adopted her some years back. And this guy, from my understanding, had access to her since she was like 2 years old. But the thing is, this dude he already served 10 years for messing with a child under the age of 13 or 13 and under. So, but the most disgusting thing about it is the fact that it seems that nobody was paying attention to her, or they was just allowing things to happen. They read a lot of the text messages, which would be, this case period may be triggering to some, but it's definitely something that we need to talk about. I'm going to let this video play and then I'm going to read something.
discussed items found during the River Rouge
Let me know if y'all know about this case. Have y'all been following it?
area search, like the shoe, later determined to be a match to those belonging to Harris. The sergeant says investigators executed at least 20 search warrants, including electronic devices belonging to Butts. They testified that they discovered questionable Google searches from December 2023, a month before Harris disappeared. The searches surround the belief that Butts wanted to find ways to conceal getting ZIYAH pregnant.
What's visited, it's Drink Me and Abort Your Baby, the herbal abortion tea by Maya. And the site visited is plannedparenthood.org/learn/abortion/the abortion pill.
Whew. Back here live now, the 36th District Court, and undoubtedly family and loved ones are having a hard time listening to that testimony inside the courtroom. We'll find out if the courts do take this to a full trial. If they do, the family is going to have to hear a lot more tough testimony in order to get justice for ZIYAH.
Yeah, so a lot of that is what was going on. It was the preliminary hearing, and they were deciding if this was going to be bonded over for trial. And absolutely, I like what the judge had a lot to say about this guy and about this family. So I'm gonna just catch everybody up that may not know about ZIYAH and what happened. So Harris, she was last seen getting off the bus in Detroit last January. As a matter of fact, like I said, January 9th, which was yesterday, her disappearance led the police to search in the area in southeast Michigan. While Harris's body still to this day has never been found, it's a lot of circumstantial evidence that's going to send him right to where he needs to be. You know, because people like this, they don't change. It ain't no changing. Everything that he did was calculated. Everything that he did was to get himself around children. Whether it be getting in a relationship with a woman that had a kid, you know, you got to check your kids' phones too, because it was a lot of communication on the phone. I mean, out in the open. They had like something like 24 people that they that testified in this preliminary hearing. Some of them his girlfriends, baby mamas, and all of this kind of stuff. So her body has never been found. Prosecutors charged Butt with murder and RAPE in September. So when announcing the charges against 41-year-old Wayne County prosecutor Kim Worthy said evidence shows that Butts, who knew Harris's family members, allegedly groomed this girl starting from 2022. Harris was pregnant. He got this girl pregnant, and when he unalived her, and Butts was allegedly the unborn child's father. So he did everything he could to conceal that, still not telling where her body is at. Another thing that I found out that I didn't know is that there was another young girl. I think she may have been 10 or 11, 10, somewhere around there. She testified that he tried her. And I heard that her father tried to take his head off. And so they had to go into recess and rush him to the back and all of that kind of stuff. Those are the kind of things I'd be like, man, just let him get him just one good time. Okay? I'd be rooting for him. But of course, I'm sure he didn't get a chance to take him. They whisked him away. But what I didn't like is that he's allowed to have his face mask that's up to his freaking eyebrows hiding. He's cowering behind his attorneys. Like, you can literally tell he's like hiding. So I don't know why they allowed him to have his mask on. But I know that one person said that she could only see the top of his head when they asked if you could see him in the courtroom. So the judge then said everybody with face mask on, take him down. And at that time he did. But if you pay attention to the way anytime he walks away or moves or whatever, it's like he's moving stiff, like he done got jacked up in there or something, you know. Of course, other people are talking, but that's what I've seen. And so let me get through this. So we have a timeline of when she disappeared too. So when announcing charges, 41-year-old. Okay, so she was pregnant when she was unalived and Bus was alleged father. So ZIYAH Harris' disappearance timeline. The prosecutor's office provided a rough timeline of the day Harris disappeared. And then they got, in collaboration with this timeline, they got the messages and all of this. And I know that I heard her say that she was on the bus. She was going to be getting off the bus. So from my understanding, he picked her up from the bus stop, which they said is like around the corner from where she lived, maybe not even 5 minutes away. He intercepted that and picked her up and was taking her all around town that day. Like, everybody seen her that day. That's what's so strange. Like, and then you gonna turn around at the end of the night and take her out? Stupid. Hold on, y'all. Okay. So ZIYAH took the school bus to school. She had her hair in 2 braided puff balls, clear frame glasses, a white sweatshirt with a black jacket over it. She had on a colorful, get this, Rugrats puffy jacket with a fur-lined hood with light blue jeans and a night jacket. This is the video of ZIYAH getting off her bus. Okay, so hold on. I'm going to just read it, even though we can't see nothing. I'm going to just read what it's saying. Okay, there is a video of her getting off the bus, off her school bus. Okay, so she used the DPS-issued tablet that she used to communicated with on the app. So she was actually messaging him even on her school-issued tablet. She took one last picture of herself on that tablet. Using her tablet, she sent messages to a device associated with Bus, indicating that they would be meeting up after she got out of school that day. There's a video of her getting out of school at the end of the day in the same clothes. She meets up with Butts and a co-worker and goes back to their auto part repair shop on Connor in Detroit. She is last seen by Butts' sister, who also testified to seeing her at the shop. Butts, the co-worker, and ZIYAH was together in the co-worker's car when they went to Ypsilanti and then returned to the shop on Connors. Butts' phone placed him at these locations. So at 9:30 p.m. to 12:20 p.m., Butts checked into a motel. There's a receipt confirming this as a result. There's a receipt confirming that he went to this motel, as well as his phone placing him at this location. And then she is never seen again after January 9th, 2024. Okay, so now I'm going to pull up what the judge had to say to him. At the end, after she listened to all of the stuff that she listened to, this is what she had to say to him. Let me pull this back up. Please smack the thumbs up if you haven't got a chance to.
We're here live just outside of the 36th District Court in downtown Detroit. I'm Ryan Marshall for 7 News Detroit.
The case regarding the trial, and the one thing I had highlighted in case is the quote, in this case there was no physical evidence such as blood stains or a weapon leaking defendant to Joyce's death. In this case, we don't have the same facts or circumstances. I do agree this is a circumstantial case, and circumstantial evidence is sufficient for a bind over and even conviction. Today is January 9th, 2025, exactly 1 year, from the day ZIYAH Harris disappeared. Before I get into the charges, and the main charge of premeditated first-degree murder, I have to speak on ZIYAH Harris. And
Yes, he
community
did,
together.
BFF. Disgusting.
And I'm only presented with such evidence. I don't know the whole story. The attorneys know more than me. The family knows more than me. But from what I have heard over the last 4 days and 5 days total, is that several people
He
failed.
should, Brian Lynn.
I don't know where her mother is. I don't know anything other than that she was forced to live in a home where she was not protected or given the adequate attention and love. I don't know where her father is. I don't have any mention of him in her life. No presence.
So we do want to pay really close attention to what she says, because this lets you know her way of thinking about the family and how involved or lack thereof involvement that they played in this fact that it happened to her. It didn't have to happen if they really was paying attention to her like that. And so this will let you know what she's thinking. Let me turn this down a little bit too. This music.
L, aka King, and all the men who saw Jarvis Butts hanging out and always around these young girls, including ZIYAH, and his 9-year-old daughter going up to the shop to clean up the shop. The school counselor who never showed up, or the person who was supposed to show up if that counselor was absent.
Oh, and I also want to say he messed with his own child.
After ZIYAH was on the floor on the day she went missing, saying that she needed to speak to someone and speak to a counselor. There's no mention of CPS, but I wonder what their involvement was over the years, because this was not just a 1-year thing. There are text messages at least from 2022. To her adoptive grandmother, Annette Harris, whose testimony, in my opinion, was very questionable. I understand why the people put her on the stand to establish ZIYAH's residence and the houses on Bedford and the regular routine, to establish also that ZIYAH was not a runaway child, that she was not a bad kid. I do believe she adopted ZIYAH. I do believe that she had 6 kids in the house. I believe that ZIYAH had on a dark hoodie the day she went missing, and that she had on red and black Nikes that day. What is hard to believe is that the defendant never came into the house as she testified. And there was also a minor that testified that he did as well. Text messages that show between him and ZIYAH that he did in the basement, saying he was going to the shower, stealing her panties.
See, notice how she said that the grandmother testified that he never came into the house, but he did. There's evidence to show it, and kids that testified to it, and text messages that show that he did. It seems like to me that they should be brought up on charges too. They were supposed to protect her.
He was always lurking around that house and asking for Janiyah and Zaniyah, from what I know. I even thought about the breakfast routine and saying that all the kids like eating breakfast at school. Did they have a choice? I don't know. But to always send those girls up there to clean up the shop raises questions. And how were there 2 women in that house who have birthed children themselves who did not notice that ZIYAH was pregnant, and I believe she was, and not having her period anymore? But then after hearing text messages today, begging Jarvis for pads as if she didn't have anyone else to give them for her. And what stood out the most was when Annette Harris stood on the stand, and she learned around 6 p.m. that ZIYAH did not come home from school, and said she looked around for her and decided to wait until the next morning to call the police.
That's crazy.
Without a tear, without emotion, or any expression of being devastated. And to her Aunt Shannon, who also showed no emotion, expression of being devastated from ZIYAH going missing. She stated that she had friends help look for ZIYAH, but was directed to just wait until the morning to call the police.
Now, I do want to point out the 2 people that she's specifically talking about, the grandmother, Annette, and Shannon, which is the baby's mother. The lady that got 5 kids by this dude that they said he was messing with her because she's 31 and he's 42. So at what point did he start messing with her when she was underage too? I don't know, but it's quite disgusting. They said it seems like it might have been some type of competition going on. They're trying to act like they didn't know, but they maybe did, or unless they blind, crazy, and stupid, according to what this lady is saying. We're gonna keep listening.
A grown woman who likely suspected something strange going on didn't feel the need to call the police either. They were both able to go to sleep at night without hearing from the ZIYAH or having any indication that she was coming home that night.
Now, notice that she pointed out that she wasn't a kid that ran away, so they should have been on high alert unless they knew what was really going on. And then, like, the text messages that they read, like, this dude was such a pred. I mean, if she wasn't calling him, he was calling her and trying to find out, or texting, trying to figure out, like, was the coast clear? Could he pop in somehow? Could he, get over there and do what he got to do right quick and leave? Or can he pick her up? And a lot of times she will say, Nana, they just went to the store. I'm sorry, I can't come or I can't go. So it's not like, it's like she was groomed. This dude was grooming her, and she thought that it was something, but she was a freaking kid. Okay. And so, of course, a lot of people are talking, tripping out about the text messages that were read. It was a lot, and a lot of it was her contacting him. But that's exactly what he groomed her to be. And I don't know. I might let a couple of them play, but it's wild.
And of course, the defendant, who I will get to in a minute. I don't know who else failed the ZIYAH, but the community did. As far as the people establishing probable cause, I will focus on count 1, as it's been stated that there is no contention with counts 2 and 3. In count 3, I will amend based off of the motion and the testimony I heard that the ZIYAH was 12 and not 13 at the time that Jarvis Butts had sexual intercourse with her. The prosecution is correct. You do not have to have a body to establish first-degree premeditated murder. It would have been a much shorter exam had her body been found, but this is where we are. In the last 365 days, no text messages. We all heard today and yesterday that she was very active and frequently texted. No social media for a year. We heard through testimony that she was also active on social media. No phone calls, which she was also able to do according to testimony. No physical sighting of her by anyone. She never came back to school. No one has seen her. Medical records dated from July 2014 to October 2023 indicated that she had no life-threatening medical issues that would lead to a natural cause of death. The black hoodie found in the area of 7 Muhlenberg with her DNA and blood on it. The holes in the hoodie consistent with some sort of struggle, violence, or weapon being used. And we know that there were no holes in that hoodie when she wore it to school. We saw a picture of her in a black hoodie on her last day that everyone saw her. I do believe her grandma testified truthfully about the sweatshirt that she had on and that was practically new. And the border agent who said that no evidence of animals would have destroyed the clothing or the shoes to possibly lead to animals tearing up that hoodie. The clear glasses found in the blue Nissan the day after she went missing, the behavior of the defendant when he snatched those glasses. They looked exactly like the glasses she had on in her last picture, according to the witness. The shoes that her brother described as the same shoes that were found also in the area of 7 Muhlenberg near the hoodie. While this is still probable cause, the evidence all points to Jarvis Butts. His locations, him being seen with her last, the abortion searches, the abrupt silence between the two of them in text messages, and the constant lies he told throughout the entire investigation. And they were proven to be lies with text messages and other testimony. We may never know what happened, but from what I heard today and over the last 4 or 5 days, it appears he intended to perform what he thought was a do-it-yourself abortion on the ZIYAH and went south, and instead of seeking medical attention for her, he intentionally killed her and tried his best to cover it up. As much as I want her to be alive today, there is at least probable cause to show and believe that she's dead and she was murdered by Jarvis Butts. Mr. Butts, stand up. You've been sitting over there for 4 days with your head down, sitting between and behind your attorney,
Coward.
with your mask on, and taking vigorous notes. I want you to pay attention and listen to everything I have to say.
Now, I guess it's an option that they can wear the mask, but I don't think he should have been allowed to, especially with her pointing out that he was doing this on purpose, hiding. I don't know if he hiding some bruises or what, but he shouldn't have been allowed that. But I'm assuming it must be a choice.
I have been trying to figure out for the last 5 days, you. At one point, I thought you were cognitively impaired in the beginning of this exam. And then maybe you had the brain of a 10-year-old, and that's why you were doing such things. But as I heard more and more testimony, you're just a true definition of a pedophile. Watching you laugh and brag about all the women you have with different women and the children and the girlfriends, and making babies to groom them and having them in your presence, cleaning up your shop. And the little girls around you.
And I want to point out that he has over 20 kids, allegedly.
Has landed you here today.
See.
You groomed ZIYAH. You played mind games with her. We all heard that. You controlled her emotionally.
Yep.
She was exposed to so much at such a young age. The text messages between you two were disgusting to hear.
Absolutely, yeah.
And to think that she had you saved in her phone as bae for life. ZIYAH deserved so much more. And while I mentioned other people that failed her, Jarvis Butts, you are the monster in this whole picture. She did deserve love from her parents and everyone who was in her life. She was ignored, she was neglected, and you took complete advantage of that. She wanted someone to love her, and she will never know what that feels like. Your children deserve more. As much as defense counsel has raised issues on count 1, all that has done is raise the question of fact for the trier fact, which means that this will be for a jury or a judge to hear in Third Circuit.
Welcome in, Julia.
I pray for the healing of all the victims and the young girls and possibly boys who have come into contact with you. As a community, we should look at this case as a prime example of how much work we have to do
Grand Rising,
when it comes to
Tamika.
protecting our children and especially our Black girls.
Salute, Jay Clever.
I pray for closure and healing for all those who have been traumatized by you. And for you, Jarvis Butts, I wish you a speedy trial and that justice be delivered. Your bind over date is January 16th at 9 o'clock a.m.
Yeah, so we definitely gonna be following this when it does hit. And so I wanted to ask y'all, who do y'all want to hear from first, the grandmother or the father? From my understanding, the father has passed away. I'm gonna do a poll, but I'm gonna let her. These are some of the searches. So also pay attention to what they're looking at, because like I said before, your phone, the technology is how they find out everything. This is how they solve cases. Without this, they wouldn't even be able to solve the cases that they do solve. And so this stuff is straight from like cell phone, Google. I think these are the Google searches, yeah. So I'm gonna let that play, and then I'm gonna do a poll to see who do y'all want to hear next.
The next pages include searches that I located inside that Google return that we received from Google.
Okay, and does that document fairly and accurately depict what it is you received back from Google as it relates to a search warrant for Jarvis Butts 82 at gmail.com?
Yes.
And I move for the admission of people's proposed exhibit. I forgot. 63.
Any objection?
No objection.
It'll be a minute as people 63.
Okay, now I want to go back to the first page, and with the subscriber information. Tell me, who is the subscriber?
So it has a Google account ID number, then it gives a name that says Jarvis Butts. It has an email address, jarvisbutts82@gmail.com. There's also a phone number that's connected to it, which is 313-585-8719.
And is there a birthday associated with that?
Yes, November 21st, 1982.
And moving on to the searches, what dates do those searches encompass?
These searches are December 9th.
Of what year?
Yep, December 9th, 10th, and 11th of 2023.
Okay. And it's fair to say that those are the entirety of all of the searches from those days.
It is not all of them, no.
Those are just select ones from the Google return.
Yes.
All right. Starting with December 9th, tell me which ones that we have in that exhibit.
So the first, you want me to read the ones that are just highlighted, or you want me to start at the top of here? So.
The ones that are highlighted.
Okay.
Just start with the ones that are highlighted.
Yep, so this search was December 9th, 2023 at 3:32 UTC time. So you would actually have to subtract 5 hours, which would make it the night of December 8th. And the site is, what's visited, it's Drink Me and Abort Your Baby, the Herbal Abortion Tea by Maya.
Okay. And what about the next one after that?
There is a site that's visited on December, it says here December 10th, 2023 at 9:32 p.m. UTC, so -5. And the site visited is plannedparenthood.org/learn/abortion/the abortion pill.
And
The
one.
next search is immediately after that, so December 10th at 9:32 p.m. UTC, the abortion pill, get the facts about medication abortion. There is a search that was conducted before that on December 10th, 2023 at 9:31 p.m. UTC. And that site is plannedparenthood.org /blog/can I use herbs to have an abortion at home?
And
The next one is December 10th, 2023 at 9:31 p.m. UTC. Can I use herbs to have an abortion at home? Planned Parenthood.
And the next one?
The next one is December 10th, 2023 at 9:36 p.m. UTC. So again, -5 hours. And that site is, it's ansirh.org, research, over-counter medication abortion. Search December 10th, 2023 at 9:36 p.m. Over-the-counter medication abortion, and that's from that same place before, ANSIRH. December 10th, 2023 at 9:32. Planned Parenthood, abortion, the abortion pill. How do I have an abortion using only the misoprostol, misoprostol. The next search, December 10th, 2023 at 9:32. Planned Parenthood, learn abortion, the abortion pill. So it's like the same, back and forth to the same site. On December 11th at 11:43 p.m. UTC, so minus 5 hours, specifically as searched is, can I drink red antifreeze? Again, that same item is searched again right after the same time, 11:43 on December 11th, 2023. And I believe that's it.
Okay,
It's been nearly a year since the disappearance of 13-year-old ZIYAH Harris. Her body has never been found, but 42-year-old Jarvis Butts is accused of sexually assaulting her and killing her.
I saw ZIYAH the day she went missing.
Kewana Butts is the defendant's sister.
I kept seeing a little girl get in and out of his truck, going into the gas station and going back to his car.
Butts testifying she had stopped by her brother's auto shop on the east side for him to look at her car when she spotted a girl she didn't recognize. Jarvis told her it was his business partner's niece.
I just remember her having on a colorful jacket.
Butts says she didn't think much of it until later. This is a photo of Harris on her bus the day she disappeared in that jacket. Butts getting emotional as she testified about suspecting her brother. Jarvis Butts was already a convicted sex offender. Records show he had spent nearly 10 years in prison for sexually assaulting a teenager. In this case, prosecutors say Jarvis Butts has several children with ZIYAH's aunt.
Now, see, that's the part that I'm talking about. These people knew what he was being charged with and still let him around their kids. And this picture I brought up because from my understanding, the one in the purple is the baby mama, Shannon. And it's a twin. It's two of them, I'm hearing. But there's a picture, this person in this purple, with him. That's Shannon. Allegedly. But yeah. And people are saying a whole lot of stuff that I'm not prepared to repeat right now. But if we happen to go across somebody saying it, I'll just bounce off of it.
And was secretly preying on ZIYAH, grooming her, even getting her pregnant, and then killing her.
These are the glasses that she had on. She gonna tell a testimony. The glasses that she just had on, her son ended up with them on his
person to you.
Yes, he's very secretive.
Letricia Johnson has one child with Jarvis Butts. She testified Butts borrowed her car on January 9th of 2024, the day ZIYAH Harris disappeared.
He called and asked if he can use my car to do something with his son.
Was this normal, abnormal?
No, not normal.
Johnson testifying when he brought her car back the next day, Jarvis Butts had left something in the back seat, something believed to belong to ZIYAH Harris.
There was a pair of glasses that was left that my son was playing with. They were clear and they were on my son's face.
So that picture is literally the last picture that she took on her iPad. This is what she had on the day that she got off that bus and met with him. And then these glasses was in the back seat of her car. So this dude is a loser. Like number one, I mean, he's just what he is, a pet, a freaking predator, Chester the damn molester, and all he want to do is be around women and their kids. That's it. He don't care about these women. He want the kids. That's what he on. Just a disgusting piece of crap. He deserved life at this point. But how did they not know? And how do you allow somebody like that to be around your kids, even if they are his own? Like one of her great aunt was on the show, and she was saying that as soon as he came up out of prison, he was right back over there with Shannon. So they knew what type of person he was. Yet he was still around, taking the kids to work at the shop and all of that stuff. Like, you wouldn't be nowhere near my kid. They knew what was going on. And then, from my understanding, I mean, the grandmother that raised her, they talked about the kids, her own kids, and how the grandmother, allegedly, the grandmother got pregnant at the age of 11. Okay, so this is deep rooted. This is some deep rooted stuff. If the grandmother was pregnant at 11 and then Her mother, Nazia, I don't know if I'm saying her name right or not, but her mother left at a very young age, like 13, her age. Stuff happened to her too. Stuff happened to the father. I mean, I'm not sure about her father, but yeah, I'm gonna let this keep playing. As a matter of fact, let me see what y'all saying, because the next one I want to play really is the father, because I just want to know what he got to say. He has since passed. Like, dang, it's 71% y'all want to hear the text messages. Have y'all heard the text messages at all? Because they are a bit much. Okay, let me let this play. The father's the bit that I have is not that much, and I want to read his charges too, though, after this video.
They're right clear and they're on my son's face. So I told him to take them off. When he take them off, he came to me. Oh, Jarvis said, "Oh, those are my sunglasses," and he snatches it from my hand.
Other evidence on this day: clothing discovered in a search near the Rouge River, believed to have been dumped by Jarvis Butts.
We collected a pink jumpsuit, bodysuit style, and then a black hoodie that had a pair of white headphones in one of the pockets, some gloves, a towel, and a pair of red, black, and white gym shoes.
Testimony in this preliminary exam resumes Tuesday morning. Amy Lang, Fox 2 News.
See how he walking? Something going on with that walk. That dude was in some pain, but good for him.
A man back in court today accused.
Now this is an older one.
For the murder and sexual assault.
Okay, so I want to read some of these additional charges that he has. So in addition to announcing the charges in the Harris case, Worthy has also charged Butts with sexual abusing 2 other children who were under the age of 13 at the time. Worthy said one of the victims, who is now 20 years old and was allegedly abused between April 2012 and April 14th, while the other victims, who is now 11, was abused from July 2015 until July 2017. So the one who's 11 now, that's the one whose father tried to get at him in that courtroom. So he has been charged with 5 counts of second-degree criminal misconduct, sexual conduct, and 1 count of first-degree criminal sexual conduct for those assaults. So the court records show that Butts also previously served time for sexual assaulting a child in 2004. He was released in 2014. So Mr. Butts targeted and befriended women to have sexual relationships with their young daughters, Worthy said. He was a classic and expert groomer and a pedophile. He was bound over to trial for those 2 cases last November. Oh, so they got him on that stuff before they could get him on this, because they didn't have a body, basically. But with all of this evidence, they don't even need one. I sat through a trial with circumstantial evidence, and that bastard is still locked up. That was in 2007. So they gonna get him, and he don't need to ever see the light of day at all. He don't even deserve to breathe our air. This is just sick. And what's even worse is that you have adults that end up competing with children. I mean, if you listen at what everybody is saying, people that really know about this, it's a lot of dirt. It's a lot of dirt. And I don't doubt it. Like desperados, desperate for a man. And he don't look like shit to me. But other people might think that he a nice looking guy. He's disgusting. Looks ain't a damn thing, by the way. I don't even think he got good looks. He's disgusting. Okay, so what I want to do right now is go to the father right quick. And I'm going to let the poll keep polling. but we might get to the text messages is a lot, y'all. But if y'all really want to listen to them, we can. Now I lost my spot. Now the father interviewed on a channel. It's a guy named Marc DeAndre that interviewed these people. Well, not really, like they called into the show, and it was like 10 months ago. So I'm gonna play some audio from that.
So we're gonna have the father call in, man. We were trying to get him video chatted in, but we having some technical issues. His phone was not audio was not capable to connect to the chat, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and let me
let's see what, because I haven't heard this yet.
One second, Brody. 1 second.
Let me know if y'all can hear that.
Can you hear me?
I'm sure y'all can, though.
Okay, something is, bro. Yeah. Can you hear me? Yeah. All right.
Okay,
all
this
right,
the
all
father.
right. So we couldn't get you on the video chat, man. I really wanted to, kind of talk face to face with you digitally, man, and had this conversation with you. But just first off, man, how are you doing tonight, man?
I'm just, I'm frustrated hurt, confused, just everything, and just trying to stay alive.
Now, from my understanding, the father had, like, I think congestive heart failure or something. And so this was actually 10 months ago. And to be exact, this was February 19th of 2024. And I think he passed away maybe 6 months ago.
That's about it. Trying to stay alive.
Now, when you spoke to me last night, you said that you had like no idea about what was going on in regards to the situation. So, what did you know, or what didn't you know, as far as what's going on?
So, I got a really, really bad heart. Operates at 5%. So I was in a hospital
5%.
when the police contacted me. And so it took me by surprise. So they asked if they could give the grandmother the number. I'm like, yeah, because, we had lost contact. So they gave her the number. So I continued talking to the police. Everything, like she said, everything that this woman has said, it's been like in a common way. Like, she's a straight A student. She sent me pictures of, like young pictures, like to where in my mind, I'm like, okay, my baby's still okay, So,
So with that being said, her father wasn't in her life at all. You just heard him say that he lost contact. He was okay for them to give the grandmother the number, and then he's seeing these pictures and, oh, my baby okay. So, okay.
And as I am, just briefly, okay, we had made an agreement when she was born that the grandmother would take care of her. Now, the grandmother needed full rights to be able to provide full care, So we both signed over our rights to the grandmother.
Oh.
I put myself on child support. Now, once you did that, I put myself on child support. I was still going over their birthdays, taking clothes, everything.
So y'all heard what he said. He signed over the rights. That was the agreement. The grandmother was going to take care of her, but they needed to do it the right way. Give her all rights. He said he was doing something. Whatever he was doing, he stopped because he just said they lost contact too at the same time.
When I had this procedure done to my heart, I didn't have a phone for a while because I was in the hospital. They put a defibrillator pacemaker in. I had to go to rehab to work, so I lost contact. When I got out of there, they had moved, so I couldn't get in contact with them. Now, forward 3 or 4, maybe 5 years later to now, however much time that was, now my daughter's missing. And that's when the police came down. Okay, so that's briefly.
Okay. Now, I want to say, without, I don't mean no disrespect by it, but like, without getting into too much your business, your personal business, I guess as deep as you want to go. Why was it that you felt like you needed to give your rights up to her as opposed to raising her yourself? If you knew that the mother was in whatever condition that she was in, where she couldn't take care of her, why didn't you take her?
All right, so I made a decision. For one, without my wife knowing. See, I'm married, so I made a decision without my wife knowing.
Oh, that was the other part that he was already married. Forgot about that.
And her name is Jernell. Tail knew my position what I was in.
So he shouldn't have never been involved with this woman in the first place. She was born without a freaking chance, for real.
Because we had worked together. And, we had told the grandmother, the situation. So, and I know people are going to go ham or whatever, but I tried to be as responsible as my mind at that time could take. And, I didn't run. Everybody want to say something. Go get them other guys that ain't taking care of this and ain't taking care of that. I took care of it. So, it was only because at that time, in my mind, I was trying to protect my wife's feelings without her even knowing.
So when you said you made a decision without your wife knowing, the decision was to give up custody of your daughter, or what was the decision?
To sign the rights over so the grandmother can do full, so she'll be able to provide anything that she needed as far as funding, stake, whatever she might need.
So you made that decision without your wife. So do you feel like had you told your wife the situation, she would have what? Maybe convinced you to take her, or convinced you to do what you did?
You know what? Now, when all this happened just now, I even apologized to my wife because I took away my wife's ability to, have her own feelings for the situation. And
that's sad.
And I knew that. And, I had to have that conversation again with my wife. I've not done what I've done. I know for sure this situation wouldn't have happened. And it's tearing me apart because she would have had the two homes to go to and come to and a lot of stuff. But my background growing up,
everybody really did feel her. Like her father was married and should have never been cheating on his wife in the first place. So he didn't really have a real attachment to her, sound like. And then plus he got ill on top of it. That didn't help the situation. So they just gave her to the mother, the grandmother. That same grandmother that got pregnant at 11 and the mother left home at 13, and then other like all of the kids, they said her son, he graduated and stuff like that, but it was like the track record of her children, the outcome, the way that they ended up wasn't good. And for her to have all of these kids, and her own family members said that she lied to be able to get these kids, which, I mean, it's a lot being said. But listening at the father telling his own side of the story, you can't get no better than this. And the man is no longer here to tell his side of the story. But my heart goes out to the little girl who still hasn't been found. Got caught up in some grown people-ish and got caught up with this pedo that was allowed inside the house roaming when they knew his record. People don't change. Like people, I seen that people are saying Shannon is the baby mama. Let me pull up. I should have just got one of them, but this is her and her twin sister. Shannon is the one with the purple, I guess, that got a kid by dude. And that's the only picture. I'm gonna have to put the other picture up because I don't want to keep showing all these other people But she had a twin, and a lot of desperado going on there. Like man, I don't know. I can't make sense out of nonsense, but it looks like she was desperate. And what was the grandmother getting out of this? And can further charges be? Can anybody else get charged for this? Probably not. Maybe they could get sued, a lawsuit or something, because everybody failed her. And they turned a blind eye like they didn't know what pregnancy looked like. Like y'all heard the judge say, like, how did they not know? Wasn't they looking at it every day? Didn't y'all have kids and know what it looked like? Nobody was paying her no attention. The girl didn't even come home after school, and they waited till the next day to even report her missing or go look for her, when she wasn't the type that did this all the time. They just didn't care, allegedly.
It wasn't.
And then her father.
I mean, I think it's still, you got to understand, everybody don't make right decisions. Everybody just hear the story. Oh, he should have done this. I'm pretty sure you should have done some things too.
That's
now,
true.
I'm just being upfront and truthful about what happened at that time. That's all I'm doing. Right. And I wanted, if somebody want to ask, fine, but I still don't want to get away from me putting the information out here that I do know. Okay, right. For the main reason we're here. Yeah, most definitely. But I do think people deserve a background like, where's this guy being though? And that's what that's what I wanted to ask you. Like, who are you? You know what I mean? Because a lot of people seem to be forming an opinion, not knowing whatever the situation may be. So I was just trying to give you a platform to speak your piece and say what you had to say as far as how you felt about the situation, and as well as about what you know, as far as going on, as far as I guess the conditions of the family that she was living in, and all of that. So I mean, what beyond what I just asked you would you like people to know about the situation, whether it be like I said, about the family or you, or what do you want the people to know? I mean, I would take any questions if somebody want to ask, but as far as if we are moving forward to the grandmother of ZIYAH, I'm gonna move right forward. Okay. So, now, before we do that, though, I do see one question that I want to address. Now, somebody asked, "So, did you cheat on your wife?" Okay, and concede in the
Yep. That is what it would be. Yeah, that is what it would be.
So you did that to basically protect her from knowing about her and gave her up to the grandmother. So at what point did she find out about your daughter?
So, for one, when you put yourself on child support, they come out. I didn't know that. So they came out, and I came home from work one day, and I had to have a total conversation with my wife.
So she found out by accident, okay? Because he put himself on child support and they came to his house? Is that, man, what? Now that's crazy.
And what had happened had been done already. And that's how my wife found out.
Wow.
And I had to deal with it, and I had to deal with it.
So now, one thing that was in the back of my mind, as I was learning the history from some of the family of Lady, I guess that's her name, that's what y'all call her or whatnot, and her history.
I call it Chantel.
Okay, Chantel.
I call it Taylor Chantel, yeah.
Chantel, I didn't know, I couldn't remember her first name. Like what was she like when you were with her? If you could give us a window into that.
We worked together. We redid homes, and she was really good at painting, drywall, and things like that. So I don't know if I was arguing at home or and I used to drink heavily, smoke weed and drink all day back then.
and was probably led to some of my conditions. So, intoxicated. She was like a real cool person, like to work with, you know.
That's
And
crazy.
I guess, you know, under influence, one thing led to another, and the situation had happened. But Jernell was dibbling dabbling with drugs back then. I believe it was like coke. I think it was cocaine. You know, she didn't do no
Chantel.
pipes. I think it was just.
So Chantel is not Nazia's mom, birth mom. And then this is her father talking. And they met at work. That's crazy. You can't even trust your spouse at work. I mean, it goes down. Work spouse, work husband and work wife. Y'all better take it seriously because it goes down. And sometimes it happens at work. On break, in cars, all this kind of stuff.
Cocaine, but
did you ever use it with her?
Move about.
You ever used it with her?
Oh no, I don't. No, okay. No, I ain't even that type of cat. So, and you know, Chantel was, you know, bisexual. So, you know, it was kind of a.
Okay, so now the mother was bisexual, and then I heard some of the last text messages that they had was her saying that she wanted a threesome. Something about having a girlfriend at the house. And he asked her, we got a girlfriend. And he was like, is she our girlfriend or your girlfriend or something? And just crazy talking to a man. It was a lot.
Like almost like a party lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's what it was. Now, you know, as far as when I talk to the grandmother, this situation has gotten a lot worse. You know, not Chantel, Chantel had a son before ZIYAH. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So, I think, and you know what? From the podcast, I don't know if I heard right, but Chantel might even be adopted to her mother. I don't even know. You know, now these are things that I did not know. I just did not know. You know, so, and then on the other two kids.
Well, I mean, he wouldn't know as a co-worker and just somebody that's hitting it. They didn't have no relationship. This is crazy.
They like, cause they said they all ran away when they were younger.
They all ran away.
You know?
Now listen, they all ran away when they were younger, but their mother that they was running away from is now profiting off of all of their children that ran away from her. Now she raising their kids. Like, make that make sense.
So this is what I'm saying. All this stuff, I didn't even know. There was no communication or relationship like that. You know, people make mistakes. People do things and they make mistakes, and you go on with your life. You know, and at that time, you do damage, and you have to learn and you grow, and you just have to keep going through life. And you know, that's basically, you know, and that's what it was. That's what it is.
Okay, one more thing that was on my mind to ask you before you get into your comments about the grandmother and whatnot. Like, so since you cheated on your wife and had Nevaeh, and you kept that secret from her to protect her, once you find out, she didn't say bring the baby home. Like, what was that? That was never a conversation as far as you.
Of course not.
You know, after she found out.
Yep, it was always a conversation. It was always a conversation. That was.
Wait a minute now. If his wife wanted the kid, why he didn't get it? Now let's hear what he said.
I was taking bikes, clothes, whatever that baby wanted over there, and that's, you know.
That's the reason why he was taking things over there, because y'all was having conversations about bringing her.
We were trying to get, you know, to still be in the baby's life. Okay, you know,
be involved.
When you make a decision, you just can't just automatically change it. Like, no, right.
You just don't do that. So you show you can be there, and you show you can be responsible. And that's what I was doing. I was showing I could be responsible. I kept up my child support payments. To this day, they're still going. And
to this day.
And so, and that's what it is. My wife is a very supportive person, you know, and it's nothing that it was nothing on her. None of this is on my wife at all. She's a beautiful, supporting person. Mm-hmm. And that's what it is about her.
Here's what I'm going to say. If you got a husband that do this, leave, man, please. I can't tell people what to do, but I know what I would do. Ain't no way in hell I would stay with a man that had another child by somebody at work. I can't trust you no damn where. And I'm not about to wreck my brain trying to figure out what you doing when you supposed to be at freaking work. There's just no absolute way I would deal with this crap. And at the end of the day, he did all that, and now he gone. The kid is gone. Everything. What did his wife gain from this? Unless she had life insurance on him.
You know.
That's crazy.
Okay, so, I guess with that being said, you can go forward with, whatever the details is you want to share about the family or the grandmother, the situation, or, your whole view of this situation right now.
Not okay.
Okay. So,
I mean, and a kid is more than just about sending off some payments and, child support payments, a couple outfits, a bike and some roller skates. Like, raising a kid is way more than that. That's why they go seeking love in other places, because they don't have that love. When you don't have mom or dad around, and then grandma and whoever else around they just prospering off of you. Babies for benefits, like the AFC podcast say. This is truly one of those things. They didn't give a damn what happened with the kids as long as them checks was rolling in.
It's like,
keep the babies coming and keep the checks coming. Because one of the cousins said that it was 11 kids in and out of that house at one point. Then she said she narrowed it down and said, and this was just a podcast from the other day, said that it was 7 kids. She had 7 kids and 9, because it was 2 that will still come back and forth. Like they probably were still teenagers, or, like this is sad. Just a house full of kids and ain't nobody being checked, taken care of, or nothing. And you got a freaking pedophile coming through there every day at will.
When
claiming you don't know what's going on. Stop.
Hospital, and she was queuing me in on everything. She was telling me like the baby.
Welcome in, Frugal Mama.
Never happened before, and she was seen running with some kids. So, we're going to find her and we're going to bring her home. And, now my family's asking, like, well, are they going to do a police conference? And I'm like, well, Mama said they were going to do a police conference. They're trying to schedule. It's going to be on this day. Now, mind you, this is like around the 9th or whatever. I believe it was the 9th. When we was having these conversations. And I'm like, okay, so it was just kept on, like, we were going to do this, we're going to do this. She even said Chantel came down from Ohio to help pass out flyers. And when she had gotten there, I said, we were talking. I said, well, how's Tail doing? She said she's not doing too good about it. And I said, oh, okay. And I left it at that, because, I know what type of state Telly be in. So I left it at that. But she was helping look for, as far as I know, they was passing out flyers, looking. So as time goes, it's just a whole bunch of, like, I would call Mama, and I didn't want to bother her, but she was always be like, I'm tired, and yeah, maybe, and she's always like she seemed like the perfect grandmother. Well, I used to go over there, everything the house was immaculate, She was always working, trying to do something. The baby was happy, cooking, things like that. It was never, and she's a God-fearing woman. So, it was always like a good vibe. So I respected her with a good vibe. You know what I'm saying? So, if she told me something, I really believed it. I would have never thought it would be so much shady stuff coming from her direction, and then it's they got twins. She has twins, they used to live with her, and so now, I guess one of them don't, one of them do. I don't know. I just know that's the part of the family that I know.
So basically, you saying all of that to say that the picture was painted perfectly in your eyes, and it looked like nothing was going wrong, or nothing was ever wrong in the situation.
Ever wrong.
And when this particular situation came about, they're telling you that this is something that never happened, and they weren't worried about it as if they was expecting her to come back home anytime soon.
Right. No, correct. Now I want to say this. Now at this time they were dealing with DTS, that's the Detroit school system police, right? So she had even explained that to me. So eventually when I got out, I didn't want to keep talking to her, but I wanted more information, so I got out of the hospital. I wasn't even supposed to be walking. I'm on a medicine that keeps my heart pumping. I wasn't even supposed to be walking. I got nurses calling me because they was concerned because of police. And I'm out there, me, my wife passing out flyers, my sister, my son, my nephew. We out here passing out flyers.
Oh, so him and his wife was out there at that moment. And y'all heard him say he wasn't even supposed to be walking. He taking medicine to help his heart pump.
And I would stop over at Mom's house and try to get, direction of where I should go, what's going on. And she would just come out.
I wonder if he had this issue when he was making the baby. I'm just curious. Like, did he have heart issues, or did it just happen after she was born? Did he have them first, before she was born?
She said, oh, yeah, we out passing them out earlier. And this and that. I'm like, okay, well, we're going to do this. We out there day and night. But every time we went, they were in the house. And then the twins, like, I know them. They never came out the house. So I feel like,
oh, wait a minute now. He said the twins. They got to be talking about the twins that I've been showing y'all. And I don't even, I'm listening on the phone. I can't even put no pictures in. But let me pull them up one more time. Shannon is the one in the purple, the one that got 5 kids by this dude. And her twin is the other one. They identical. It's 2 of them. Okay.
going on over here?
They didn't even come outside to look for her. Why?
So one day I went over there, or I was having a conversation with the grandmother. She said, I don't know why everybody want to ask where, like Chantel got an older son. I think he's around 70, 18 now. They want to talk to him. I don't know why the police want to talk to him. He ain't got nothing to do nothing with it. You see what I'm saying? It's just her attitudes started changing.
Okay, so now you're saying that, right? Basically, you're saying all of that to say that, you notice red flags about certain situations, and you probe them and ask them about it, and they act suspiciously, I guess, to say, for lack of a better way of explaining it.
Right. Now, when we were trying, I said, Mama, and after a while, I'm like, Mama, we done put these flyers up. All the kids that we talking to, they're saying they know her, but they ain't seen her in 2 or 3 weeks. And I'm like, well, that's about when the thing happened. It ain't nobody seeing her, but Mama telling me they seeing her running up and down the street. And I'm trying to keep calm. Now, after...
Wait a minute. Now, she was misleading them then? I mean, if we are to believe what this man is saying, they was acting like she was okay, like they knew where she was at. Why wasn't it an urgency to find her? Did they know something that we don't know? Like, I just wonder if more charges is gonna come later. Because all of the stuff that I'm finding, man, if you go on Facebook, people is talking about this family like really bad, like they really knew. They knew. And they did nothing. Like, it's almost like she running some type of, I don't know. Let me just let him talk.
I'm going to jump right back. You know, DPS and the Detroit Police Department, they do have a certain procedure and protocol on how they do things. If it's a runaway, I think they treat the situation different than a missing person. I don't know. Now that all this came out, I think she was reported as a runaway. You know, and I think that was set up like that. I really do. I really do think it was set up like a runaway.
Now, if you report somebody missing as a runaway, they definitely don't do the same things that they do when they are endangered. They don't even look for them. They just pretty much wait for them to pop up for the most part. And then they didn't even report her the first day. But let's remember that this dude is taking her all around town, all at the shop, all of this stuff that day. And then didn't nobody see him pick her up too from the bus? Like this dude. Let me just keep going.
And I'm simply saying that because I asked Grandma, I said, now look, Ma, you know, I just want to ask a few more questions. Let me tell you this. Now, we was talking, and she had told me the summertime, you know, oh, yeah, she's a straight-A student. She even went to the summer school classes and everything. So they had said that I pulled up, well, a guy was at the school in a pickup truck. And ZIYAH had went out there to the pickup truck. And the principal had supposedly went out there and said, who are you talking to? Who was that? ZIYAH turned around and said, this is my dad. So the lady was like, yo, dad. So when she started walking towards her, they said the guy pulled off.
Now, I heard this the other day from a family member. It was a great aunt that told this story. So that dude was going up to her school, even talking to her at the playground. Like, what? And then he pulled off, but they didn't even report that, I think is what she was saying. Well, they must have, somehow the father found that out.
So the ZIYAH came back in. So I said, well, Ma, you know, I didn't know where y'all lived at. She was like, yeah, because we moved.
Now notice this man calling her Ma and all this. Ain't no way. Like his wife must be really supportive, you know. But I guess if you're gonna be with somebody that long, you might as well stay to the end. It's too late to leave now.
I said, well, ain't nobody called me. She was like, well, we tried to call, the number didn't go through. I said, Mama, I was in the hospital so long, I don't even know where that phone was. I said, you know, so, and if anything, what happened, I will call you. She was like, I know, you're very respectful. So I'm not thinking of the conversation. So we still talk. I said, well, what did she say? She said she asked her, what that she said? She looked at her and said, that's my daddy, Anna. And she was like, that is not your dad. And this, that. So I think she said she started crying or whatever. And she said, we'll deal with this later. So I'm like, okay. So now, not going back real quick. Now, mind, I told you when we got out, we was passing out flyers. I would go over there and ask her, what area should I go in? She was like, well, go down there to Chatsworth, on Chatsworth. So I guess the back of the school sits on
Miss
Chatsworth.
TT.
I said, well, why would I go down there on Chatsworth? She was like, because that's when ZIYAH walked through the field and met with that guy at the truck. I said, so she walked through the back of the school, Mom, and walked through the field? You know, I'm trying to figure out. She was like,
you say all of that to say that they
knew
that she was possibly dealing with somebody out of her age range and was not doing nothing about it?
Now, I'm about to tell you some more stuff. I just wanted to give you that scenario. Now, ZIYAH is smart, okay? If that was the case, I believe she was covering up for somebody. He didn't want them to get exposed. Now, as I listen to your podcast,
that's over age.
That she knows. Yep, that she knows. And they not her age. Now that I listen to your story, and it's like this guy who's one of the twins' boyfriend. You see what I'm saying? And this guy's supposed to have all this sexual misconduct junk and all this nasty stuff. okay, you know, red flag. Yeah, I believe that's him. I believe it's him. Because I don't know none of this. I don't, you know what I'm saying? So I don't want to say it's this guy, but I believe it's him. I just heard about this yesterday. So now before all this, me and mom was having a conversation. I said, well, Mom, well, how did you manage? You know, she said, well, I think Shan, one of the twins, her man would pick up the kids from school sometimes, take them up to his shop, and they would clean up and work up there, and she would go pick them up. So I'm thinking, like, well, maybe this is the guy she was protecting. This before I even know this guy was a pedophile. So, you know, I'm like, okay, Ma, you know, we need to look into that. She was like, no, because he ain't with her no more, you know, or whatever that she might have said, you know.
Now, okay. Now, what parent in their right damn mind would have some man that you know is a criminal, and the type of criminal that he is, picking up your children? That's like, I mean, you're dangling steak in front of a freaking bulldog. Like, okay, so with that being said, she knew. All of this wasn't sneaking, going to the shop. She was allowing this to happen and telling the father this stuff like it's a good thing. Now I'm trying to see, like, did she say anything about them getting paid? For what reason would you need to have some little girls cleaning the shop? Come on now. Come on.
I'm thinking in my head, like, okay, but now I listen to your podcast and I'm putting two to two together. So your podcast, I listened to that last night, right?
Right.
That night, I texted the grandmother. I said, oh my God, I can't believe you. I said, twin, you know, like this shit really hurt. I said, y'all sick over there. I said, 7 kids, like 5 with this guy, 7. You know what I'm saying? But I asked Mama before I sent them texts, who is Jarvis? You know, this woman sat up there and act like she ain't know who he was.
What?
And then was like, that's her boyfriend. I said, well, is that the one they got in custody? She was like, look, her voice got real uppity then. She was like, look, I'm not saying nothing. The police say people gonna say things when you get out here, they're gonna, and don't believe them until they come back and tell you what's what. But I've been asking you the truth about these situations, and you haven't been truthful not once. You know what I'm saying? Now she go back and tell the police, my daughter has been running away.
What?
But you tell me she has never done it before.
Oh, so wait a minute. So she been lying. See, I know what the internet been saying, but this is truth, because y'all heard what the judge said. For the people that was here when the judge did say what she said about the grandmother, but this is the father that is verifying the stuff that he don't even know he verifying for me. So wow, okay, so that means I can believe a lot of stuff that I'm seeing on Facebook.
I mean, it's so many things that's not added up.
I mean, and that's the thing that I'm hearing from a lot of people as far as, and I'm not here to throw nobody under the bus. I'm just discussing the things.
That's exactly why the judge was like, and she wasn't known to run away. That's why she even said that. So she made her out to be something that she wasn't, so people wouldn't look for her, is what it seemed like to me. What?
I've heard the things that I see, you know what I'm saying, and a lot of people are saying that the story from the person that it's coming from is switching up, like, you know, left and right, up and down. You know what I mean? So I don't know. And then, so when I'm given the information that I'm heard, it may, I mean, that I'm being told, it may sound like my shit is up, down, left, and right. You know what I mean? But
right, but I mean, coming from the grandmother, man, this should be on point. Period.
And I'm gonna say this. You know, I actually obtained a contact number for the grandmother, and I called her not long ago, less than 2 hours ago, And I reached out to her, respectfully and said, I'm Marc D from 7 Mile Radio. I'm a citizen journalist. I have an independent media outlet. And, I've been kind of covering the story over the last couple of days. And I wanted to reach out to you to see if you wanted to have a conversation and share your piece on what's going on. I'm unbiased. I'm not the police. I'm not, I'm a citizen journalist. I'm not even the mainstream terrestrial news corporate outlet. You know what I mean? So I was just giving her a platform to speak. And, to me personally, she sounded a little, I don't know if it was worried, disgruntled, or whatnot, but she declined my offer to speak and got off the phone real quick. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. She ain't trying to deal with none of this, man. I'm telling you. That's why I didn't even want to ask her questions, because her demeanor.
Well, not trying to deal with it or answer questions equal guilt.
Was off. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to respect her. She has always been, when you say grandmother, I'm talking like a respectable person. I don't even know what all this stuff, all the adoptions and all this stuff. It didn't even seem like that was in that category. It's like she's been adopted.
From what I hear, the grandmother, and I don't know how true it is, right? But two other people was telling me they don't know how she ended up with not only your kids, but the other 7 kids under the age of 10 that's in the house right now, because she, in fact, lost her kids to CPS when they were younger. Her 5 kids, they all ran away or something like that. But that's just a story that I'm told.
Okay, now he's saying, yeah. Now I did hear that they ran away. I don't know about if she lost them through CPS. This is Detroit, Michigan. Welcome in, Tea Time. And Miss T said, I really believe the mom and grandma need to answer a lot of questions. Exactly. I feel like, dang, can they be brought up on charges because of come on. Everybody can't be lying.
Right. Oh my God.
But yeah, man, like I said, man, I really just wanted to, like I said, hear, how you felt, you know what I'm saying? See, how you was doing and give you a platform to speak and ask you a couple of questions, because the main concern, from even me, was like, where's her dad at? Like, where's he at all of this time? Just wanted to, give you an opportunity to speak and tell everybody what it is that you was going through in regards to all of this.
Oh yeah, I appreciate it, man, because when I do talk to police, you only get you listen and you got to let them do their job. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate the Detroit Police Department. I do appreciate DPS, because when Detroit stepped in, bro, all this stuff started moving like clockwork. You know what I'm saying? When Detroit Police got the case, everything started moving like clockwork. I want to get Tamara, that police commissioner. She has been overly outstanding. Eric from the 300, my sister Kelly saying she has been networking, doing things, and I appreciate it. I have to stay, just like the grandmother. She was a beautiful person. She has to stay under the word of God. Just like me, I need to stay under the word of God. When you make that lifestyle change, it's a lifestyle change. It ain't just for that moment. And then when you begin to walk and do those things, it's a lot of things you learn. You make your mistakes, you move on. I made my mistakes, and I'm still gonna make mistakes, but I'm not gonna stop. I'm not gonna stop. I'm just not. I'm not gonna stop. And that's just what it is, man. It's just what it is. I have to keep going. I have to keep going. And I'm not saying going without this situation. I'm talking about as far as learning and growing. People are always going to have a comeback to anything you say.
Most definitely.
But you just got to keep on, you got to keep on going, man. You can't stop.
I'm going to let y'all know some of what social media is saying, too.
All right, brother, man. Like I said, man, I appreciate your time, man. And
all right, so we just wanted to hear from the father, who is no longer here, y'all. From my understanding, he passed about 6 months ago, somewhere around there. And this channel is coming from a what is his name? DeAndre. what is it? Marc DeAndre on Facebook. And again, this is from, and I'm going to put the link to this in my description box so y'all can check out the whole thing. It's very long. I don't know what else. That's just all I wanted out of that. I'll listen to that later to see what else we can get from that. And then the grandmother, I want to see if I can find the official video, but for now, I'm going to just play the audio of this. This is the grandmother testifying.
Shannon, she was there, but she wasn't really like.
Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to find it so I can pull it up.
Thank you. Could you state your name for the record?
Annette Harris.
And Ms. Harris, do you know someone or did you know someone by the name of ZIYAH Harris?
Yes.
And who is ZIYAH to you?
My granddaughter.
Are you her legal guardian?
Yes, I am.
When did you become her legal guardian?
I adopted ZIYAH back in 2016.
And that was court work, her paperwork filed and all that to legally adopt her?
Yes, it took a process.
Oh.
Yes.
And back in January of 2024, did ZIYAH live with you?
Yes.
I don't want to know the specific address, but what street did you live on? At the city of Detroit County?
Yes, it is.
How long had ZIYAH been living with you at that address on Bedford?
Oh, wow. I mean, ever since I had her.
Since 2016?
Well, we moved to another house.
Okay, when did you move into the Bedford house?
Let's see. 2019, we moved in that house and then moved in the house that I am now, which is still on Bedford.
Okay. And did ZIYAH make those moves with you?
Yes.
And in January of 2024, at that Bedford location.
Should have been 6.
And you and Shannon, correct?
Well,
Living there.
Shannon, she was there, but she wasn't really like there all the time.
Okay.
She would spend more majority of her time at my house, but actually Shannon had her place out in Clinton Township.
And when you were there,
so I just wanted to say the only place I can find this at is a channel called Justice is a Process. So that's the channel that we listening to this from. I'm also going to put the link to this channel in the description box as well. So let's listen, y'all.
in January of 24, how old was ZIYAH at that time?
January 24, she had 13. She had her birthday in September.
And was she going to school?
Yes, she was.
What school did she attend?
J.E. Clark Preparatory Academy.
And is that also in Detroit?
Yes, it is.
Just generally, can you tell us about your morning routine with the kids, specifically ZIYAH, about getting them to school and things like that?
Sure. Okay, 6 a.m. That's when I get the children up. They usually get up, get dressed, prepare themselves. About 7:15, 7:20, we're basically saying prayer and we're loading up in the car. I'm dropping them off at school at 7:30. Breakfast starts at 7:30, and they like to eat breakfast at school.
And does that include ZIYAH? You would drop her off at J.E. Clark?
All together, yes.
Now, I want to talk about, let me ask it this way. Did you know someone by the name of Jarvis Butts?
Yes.
And do you see Mr. Butts in the courtroom today? If you need to stand up and look around.
I don't see them.
Do you need glasses?
Yeah, my
Okay,
daughter has my glasses.
Okay, Judge, may I take a moment to get your glasses?
Yes.
May I approach witness, sir?
Yes.
Thank you.
If you could just stand up and take another look.
Okay. Yes.
Do you see Mr. Butts in the courtroom today?
Yes.
Could you
Yes.
point to him and identify a piece of clothing that he's wearing?
Blue uniform with the blue mask.
For the record, the witness has identified Jarvis Butts, the defendant in this matter.
Summer bucket?
And may I approach the witness again, Jeff?
Yes.
I'm approaching with what's already been admitted as People's 9. And Ms. Harris, do you recognize the person in that photo?
Yes.
And who is that person?
Jarvis Butts.
And is that the same person you've identified in court here today?
Yes.
And Ms. Harris, how did you know Mr. Butts back in January of 2024?
He's the father of my daughter's children.
And is that daughter Shannon Harris?
Yes.
Okay. How many kids do they have together?
5.
And would he come around your house on Bedford in January or the months leading up to January?
Whenever he did come, he would always pull up in a white truck, and Shannon would go out to the car, and they would sit and talk or whatever. But he would very rarely come in my house.
And during that time when he would come around and sit in his car, was there any times that he would interact with ZIYAH that you saw?
Not that I remember, no.
Okay. Now I want to talk specifically about January 9th. You had described your morning routine with the kids. Did you follow that routine on January 9th?
Yes, I did.
And did that include dropping ZIYAH off at J.E. Clark 7:15 to 7:30?
Yes.
And can you tell us what she was wearing on January 9th, 2024?
Yes, she was wearing a pair of light powdered blue jeans with a light powdered blue jacket that had the black little fur around the collar. It was like a 2-piece set.
And did she have a sweater on or a shirt on or something?
She had a shirt. She wore a shirt underneath it.
And you remember, did she have any other clothes with her on the 9th when you dropped her off?
She had her little blue sweatshirt with the little hoodie. She had that with her.
And do you know how or when she got that hoodie?
I bought that hoodie for her. I guess it was in the fall sometime when I bought it. It wasn't nothing new. It was just one of her old hoodie jackets she used when she go to gym.
Okay. And in terms of, if you know, the condition of that hoodie on the 9th, was it torn, ripped, damaged in any way?
No, it was fairly good. Like kind of like still new, but she took pretty good care of her things.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
May I approach her?
Yes.
I'm approaching with People's Proposed Exhibit 12. Ms. Harris, do you recognize what I just handed you?
Yes.
And is that a picture of ZIYAH?
Yes.
And do you know when that picture was taken?
The same day, January the 9th, she took this picture.
Oh, move to admit People's Proposed 12.
Any objection?
No objection.
It'll be admitted as People's Exhibit 12.
And when you dropped ZIYAH off at J.E. Clark, what was the routine supposed to be after school was over?
Okay, well, school was over, the bell rings at 2:40. ZIYAH was due to come home. And normally when the bell rings, 2:40, 2:45, she's getting on the bus.
And that's what she normally did on other days?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes, I'm sorry.
And
yes.
what time would she normally arrive back at home?
The ZIYAH would be walking in through the door maybe 3:05, no later than that.
And on January 9th, did she walk in at 3:05?
No, she did not.
And were you home when she didn't come home?
I was there for a little while, but I left out to run some errands. But no, when I got to the house, she was not there.
And at that time, did you have a conversation with someone else about her not coming home? Because I not coming home?
Yeah, when I picked my children up from the after school program, I went in and my daughter said,
Objection to what her daughter said. It's on the hearsay.
I'll rephrase the question.
Okay, sustain.
Just talking about what you saw and heard, and not asking for what anybody said, but did you talk to Shannon, your daughter?
yes, Shannon said she was not there.
Okay. When you got home that day on the 9th, wasn't ZIYAH there?
No.
And did you eventually make a police report about her missing?
Yes, I did. Yes,
And when did you do that?
That morning when I got to school, I went up and dropped the kids off at school. I talked with the dean and the principal, And I told them that I was on my way to the police station, and they told me that they would call the police, and the police, DPS police came there.
And you said DPS, is that Detroit Public Schools?
Yeah.
And did you talk to an officer at that time at the school?
Yes, I did.
And was that at J.E. Clark physically at that location?
Yes.
And you said that morning, are you talking about the morning of the 10th?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Was ZIYAH active on social media, if you know?
Well, as far as I know, she was. I mean, there were times that she was sneaking, go on it, you know. But yeah, she was.
Okay. And did you keep track of her social media pages like TikTok or Facebook or anything like that?
I tried. A lot of times, you know, I would take her phone and stuff from her, you know, so, you know, to keep her from being on there, you know.
And after the 9th, did you ever see any posts made by ZIYAH?
I didn't see any posts. Most of the time.
Now, I had to stop it right there because if she was taking her phone, she probably would have caught some of those text messages that was coming through from a grown-ass man that they was allowing to pick the kids up, or her specifically, according to the father. I don't believe nobody was taking nothing.
You know, if there was a post or something, or she posts, my daughter or someone would call me and tell me.
Have you ever heard after the 9th, ever heard any communication or seen ZIYAH? When, is that a no?
No.
And when you dropped her off on the 9th at school at J.E. Clark, was that the last time you saw her?
Yes.
May I have one moment?
Yes.
Just to follow up, I did forget to ask this. Her bus stop, how far from your house was that in walking distance?
5 minutes.
Do you know where the location that she got dropped off at was, the address or the intersection?
Right there at a 3 Mile Drive in Cornwall.
And that's 5 minutes from your house?
Yeah.
And did ZIYAH have any nicknames that people called her?
Where her family called her Tootle, but I've always called her Glamorous. I've been calling her that ever since she was born.
Is it Glamour?
Glamorous.
Oh. Okay, one more question.
Yes. You said Tuda?
Tootle. Mm-hmm.
Tudda.
I know you're listening.
Thanks, Russ.
Good morning, Sheriff.
Good morning.
Now, you are ZIYAH's maternal grandmother, right?
Correct.
You're also her adopted parent, right?
Correct.
And you said you adopted her in 2016?
Yeah, should have been done 16.
Okay. Is her birth mother still around?
She is.
Okay. Does she have a relationship with her?
No.
She doesn't have any type of relationship, no contact with her that you know of?
Well, let me say this. I don't deal with my daughter, so she really didn't have no contact with ZIYAH like that. She only came around now and then.
Whoa, wait a minute. She says she don't deal with her daughter. I wonder why. Why? What happened to your daughter when she was in the house? I wonder.
And you testified that you currently stay on Bedford Street?
Yes.
And in fact, I think you testified you lived on 2 houses on Bedford Street.
Correct.
And did ZIYAH have friends on Bedford Street that you were aware of?
She had friends, but her friends didn't live on Bedford.
Okay. Do you know if she ever had any friends over?
No.
Did she ever spend the night at any of these friends' houses?
No.
And at your prior neighborhood, did she have friends that she may have spent the night over?
No.
You indicated that there are approximately 6 children in the house?
Well, not now. When he asked me about the address,
yes.
I lived at 2 houses, which is on the same street of Bedford.
Okay.
Okay. So the house that we lived in before, it was my children and my daughter's children.
Your daughter being Shannon?
No, Marquita.
Marquita,
Mm-hmm.
okay. And did ZIYAH have any close relationship with any of these children particularly?
She was close with my granddaughter, one of my granddaughters, yeah.
Which granddaughter is that?
ZIYAH. I mean, Jernell.
Okay.
All of their names are similar.
And Jernell is Shannon's daughter?
Yes,
That would be Jarvis's daughter as well, correct?
correct.
And at your Bedford Street address, how many adults live there?
Just me and Shannon.
Okay. When did Shannon move in?
I'm sorry.
When did Shannon move in to Bedford?
Oh, I guess back in October, last October or something.
That would be October of 23?
Yeah.
So in January of 24, she was there, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, is that a yes?
Yes. Yes.
And you indicated that ZIYAH participated in social media?
She did. She did participate in social media. She was on social media a lot of times when she wasn't supposed to be.
So did you see her post or did you follow her post?
I didn't see her really posting anything. I mean, at times when I did check, I didn't find anything.
Okay.
And most of the time, if she did post something, my daughter's then would, let me know, if she posted something.
So you don't know who her social media friends were?
The only person that I know that was one of her classmates that she would post little things with one of her little classmates.
Okay. But it's fair to say there are some things you did not know.
Yeah, well, some, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, you indicated that you drove ZIYAH to school every day, correct?
Correct.
Who else went to school with ZIYAH?
My other two children, Shannon's children.
Okay. And what type of student was ZIYAH?
ZIYAH was a very good student, very mannerable, very outgoing. She got good grades. Her attendance was good. The teachers had no problem with her. They really liked ZIYAH. ZIYAH got along with just about anybody. She was very likable.
Did she have any disciplinary problems?
No,
Do you recall her ever getting into a fight?
she did.
One fight, more than one fight?
There was a young lady that she had a couple of, consultations with in school. And it was like an ongoing situation.
Okay. And when did this first start?
I'm not quite sure when it started, but it was like off and on, with this particular schoolmate that she had.
And this is for her current school, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Now, did ZIYAH participate in any extracurricular activities? Was she on band or anything?
She liked it, gym, robotics, art. I mean, she liked a lot of things that she was, involved in,
And would any of these things cause her to have stayed after school?
The only time she stayed after school was when she wanted to be enrolled in the after-school program.
Just one. I just want to step back a moment. We asked you about her social media. You said there were some things that you weren't aware of on social media, correct? Did you ever check her direct messages?
Like I said, I did, but when I did, there was nothing on there.
There was nothing.
No.
Okay. Did you monitor any of her conversations?
Yeah, I would, go check,
Okay.
But like I said, a lot of times, I took ZIYAH's tablet, from her at one point, so there was really nothing that I knew of that she was on unless she got somebody's cell phone or something,
Okay. So you did mention that she had a tablet. How many devices did she have that allowed her to connect to social media?
She only had that one tablet that I had bought her. And like I said, I took that tablet and put that tablet up.
So on January 9th, you took her to school, correct?
Correct.
And you said it was her and two of your other children? that went to preschool?
My two other children and my daughter's children. I dropped them all off.
And you said that you noticed that she did not come home at her normal time.
Correct.
All right. You did not call the police then, correct?
No. Driving around looking for her. My daughter reached out to some of her classmates. I did nothing. And that morning, I got up. And like I said, I went straight to the school. And from there, I was on my way to the police station to make the report. And they called the police from there. DPS police came to the school.
So the first report you made to the police was the next morning?
Yes.
Do you know approximately what time?
I got, school starts at 7:30. So I got there at 7:30. They got there about, I don't know, maybe 8.
So you didn't go to the precinct, you went to the school, and the school called the police?
Yes, they called the police because I was getting ready to leave, and the dean said, "No, stay here." She said, "And we'll call the police."
Okay. Now, you mentioned that you are familiar with Mr. Butts, correct?
I know Mr. Butts.
Okay. And he dated your daughter, Shannon, correct?
Correct.
They did have 5 children, correct?
Correct.
And the children, did all the children stay with you and Shannon?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I don't want to get too much detail on the kids. What were the mix of the kids, boys and girls?
Can you repeat that?
What were the mix of the kids, boys and girls?
Well, I have a boy and girl, and Shannon has her 3 boys and her 2 girls.
So she had 3 boys and the 2 girls. Okay. And at any time, now I think you did indicate that Mr. Butts would come over, and I think you said he would rarely come in, correct?
Mm-hmm.
But he would come in on occasion, correct?
Not really on occasions, because most of the time when he came in, he would pull up in my driveway, and my daughter would go out to the truck, and a lot of times the kids would go out to the truck. So it was very rare if he ever came in my house.
And you indicated that you were close. I'm sorry, you were close with ZIYAH?
Yes.
Can you think of any reason that ZIYAH would not share information with you?
No. ZIYAH would come to me and talk to me all the time.
Okay.
If something was bothering her, or if she had a bad day in school, she'll come to me and we'll sit and talk about it. I always kept the door open for communication with ZIYAH and with really all of my children. So she always felt free, to come to me and sit down and talk to me about whatever.
So if something was frustrating ZIYAH, she would come with you?
She would, that I know of, yes.
Right. If something was scaring ZIYAH, she would come to you?
If something was bothering her or she was frustrated about something, she'll come to me and say, "Hey, man, can I talk to you?"
If there was any
welcome in, Nicole.
She would come to you regarding that?
I believe she would, yes.
You take her to the hospital, take her to the doctor?
Yes.
Okay. Just a moment.
You think she lying, TT and Teresa? Hey, Teresa, welcome in. She got an answer for everything. Listen, after hearing all of those text messages, she clearly wasn't checking nothing. And how do you not know? Like, come on. I don't know if I heard, do this grandmother have a job outside of the house? Because if you got all of these kids, you getting paid for it, so it ain't no reason for her to work outside of the home. And it ain't no reason for her not to know what's going on at her house. And you heard her say that she usually get home after 3 o'clock. It's like 5 minutes away. She had all that down packed. So why wouldn't they go look for her before the next day? So it sound good. Like the father was saying, she seemed like a good grandmother, but all of the stuff that I'm hearing and all of the stuff, just listening at what the judge said was enough for me. And I didn't even know a lot of the details that I found on Facebook. But people don't have a lot of nice things to say about this family.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Can you redirect?
Ms. Harris, I just have a couple more questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
When Mr. Riggins was asking you questions, you said that Mr. Butts would come and sit in his car, right? Outside your house?
Yes.
And you said that the kids would go out to the car.
Yes.
Which kids would go out to the car?
His kids.
Would Neziah ever go with his kids out to the car?
If Shannon was out there, she would.
And Mr. Riggins also asked you about the tablet that you bought with Neziah.
Now that's another thing that I'm hearing is that she was allowed to hang with Shannon all the time. So like from my understanding, Shannon had her own place at one point, but lost it somehow. And so she used to be with her all the time. So that would mean that she would be around this dude. Allegedly.
Yes.
Remember those questions?
Yes.
And when, if you can remember, narrow that down, when did you buy that tablet for her?
I bought that tablet for her one Christmas. I think it was I think it was in 22 when I bought that tablet, at the end of 22 when I bought that tablet for her.
So December of 22?
Yeah, I think when I bought that tablet.
So she would have had that tablet for roughly just over a year then, correct?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
And did Neziah also have access to a cell phone?
The only cell phone she had access to was one of the cell phones when my oldest daughter came to visit me. She gave to Neziah, but she could only use it by Wi-Fi.
You said your oldest daughter, is that Neziah's mother?
Yes.
Okay. And through, what's your oldest daughter's name?
Kewana Harris.
Through Kewana Harris, Neziah got access to a phone?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
Mr. Riggins also asked you about Neziah staying after school. You said that there was an after-school program she was involved in?
Yes.
On January 9th and in January of 24, was she still involved in that program?
No, I took her out of it because she was having problems with one of her schoolmates at that time. The same person that he asked me about before that she didn't get along with.
The same person Mr. Riggins asked you?
Absolutely.
And so on the 9th, she was not supposed to stay after school?
No, she was supposed to come straight home.
Mm.
And when she didn't come home, you said that you were driving around looking for her, correct?
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit more about what efforts you made on the 9th to locate her?
When I went to the school to go pick my son and daughter up because they were also in the after-school program, picked them up, went back to the house. I thought she was there. And when I got to the house and I found out that she wasn't there, I got back in the car and I went back up to the school. And by that time, nobody was there. Nobody was at the school. So now, I mean, I'm kind of like, I'm frustrated. Now I'm going like, you know, because whenever she wants to stay after school or do something, she would always call me. Hey, Nana, can I stay after school? Or she would call one of her TTs, hey, TT, can I stay after school? So that wasn't like her. So I'm really frustrated now. So now I go back to the house and I'm talking to my daughter, Shannon.
And I'm going to stop you right there because I don't want to go into what anybody else said.
Okay.
But you went back to the school. Nobody was at school. You went back to the house. Neziah is still not there, correct?
Correct.
Did you go back out looking for her after that?
I did.
Okay. Where did you go look?
I was driving around in the neighborhood, everywhere. I'm just looking, just like hoping I'll see her, you know?
We have one more. On the 9th, when you were looking for her, well, let me ask you this way. Did you know Neziah to go to Mr. Butts' place of work to assist him with anything there?
Yes, there was a couple of times that she went with his daughter and they went up there to go clean up at his shop.
And how would they get there?
He would come and pick them up.
And was that in that white truck that you talked about?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And did you yourself know where Mr. Butts worked at?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you know, where is that?
It was Frank's shop located on East Warren.
And is that the last place that you knew him to work? Or did you know him to work somewhere else?
I knew him to work there, and then the shop moved to a different location.
Did you know where that new location was?
Personally, no.
Okay. And did you ever, on the 9th, did you ever try and go to Mr. Butts' place of work to look for Neziah?
On the 9th, no.
Nothing further, Justin.
Okay, Ms. Harris, we're done testifying. Watch your step. Please exit the box.
Okay, fine.
Okay, so I see that y'all feeling like the grandmother is lying. Yeah, why would she wait till the next day? Let me cut this off. So the next video that I want to go to is let me pause this. Is the great aunt who was on a show last night. Hold on, y'all. Okay, so I got this channel put up that talks about, it's called Community Advocate Network. And this podcast had a couple of her family members on here that gives a little bit more insight about the grandmother and the family and stuff like that. So his friend that worked with him at the garage knew. It ain't no way. You know what? And that was a testimony that I wanted to listen to too, but I didn't get a chance to hear it. But I'm gonna probably come back tomorrow or another day to talk about it, because I do want to follow this case and I want to get caught up with all the details. But yeah. So I have not heard all of his I heard a very little. I was like, I'm gonna listen to it with them. So that'll probably be the next one that I do. And so I just want to listen to some of this. Now, the auntie, she's the great aunt. She's 42 years old, named Jernell. And then there was another one speaking named Kewana, who's the cousin of ZIYAH. They talk about the grandmother and Shannon and stuff like that. So I'm gonna play a little bit. And just like the other channels, I've already linked in the description box, so y'all can check them out if you haven't.
Didn't get off the bus and come home, because I would have realized right away that my child wasn't walking in the door at the normal time that they usually walk through the door.
Now, we want to keep in mind, these are family members, y'all. So I like to hear what the family is saying about family. Like, I feel like these are the best details that we can get outside of the trial. You know, that's facts.
So what was that time frame? Could you share with the audience the time frame before they really realized that she wasn't home?
Well, from what I read in like news reports and things like that, and the police that I talked to, she should have been arriving home a little bit after 3 o'clock. I even went over there and sat on a corner for a while on auto drive and watched the buses come. I wasn't exactly sure which bus she was on, but all
and this
the
is her
buses
father
came
too,
within
y'all.
2 to 3 minutes of each other and were gone by 3:10. So she should have been home.
Yeah, so this is her father right here before he passed away, who was married and sound like he never was really in her life. You know, he helped look for her. He was in the hospital for a period of time with congestive heart failure. I think I heard him say his heart was working at like a 5%, and he wasn't doing good. He wasn't doing very good at all. Now, this is the one of the ladies that we'll be hearing talk. Let me see.
Between 3 and 3:15.
She's talking now.
Because the house is right around the corner from the bus stop. Not even a 5-minute walk.
Literally. So again, has anyone figured out the amount of time what was the time frame that she actually became missing?
We know they said that she went missing after getting off of the bus. That's all we know. We just learned recently that they didn't realize she was missing until around 6 o'clock.
And that's when was the police called? Did the mother, the guardian notify the police?
No, all the information we received is that they claimed that they went to look for her, but no neighbors on that block. We went and asked when we passed out flyers. The neighbors on that block said they didn't even know a little girl was missing, especially not the little girl from that house because they were familiar with that house. So she should have been familiar with the house.
Were there any other children?
It's right around the corner from the bus stop. Not even a 5-minute walk.
Literally.
The house is right around the corner from the bus
Hold
stop.
on, y'all.
The house
that is commonly asked in terms of
actually became missing?
We know they said that she went missing after getting off of the bus. That's all we know. We just learned recently that they didn't realize she was missing until around 6 o'clock.
And that's when was the police called? Did the mother, the guardian notify the police?
No, all the information received is that they claimed that they went to look for her, but no neighbors on that block. We went and asked when we passed out flyers. The neighbors on that block said they didn't even know a little girl was missing, especially not the little girl from that house because they were familiar with that house.
Right. They were familiar with the house.
Yeah.
Were there any other children, young children, older children in the house that you know of?
Multiple children frequent that household and live in that household. At least, let me see, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, at least 11 children.
Wow.
That's a lot. And so that is where I got that number from, like 11 children. Let me let her finish.
Lived in that house recently. And currently there are 7 that live there and 2 others that may possibly still frequent that household.
One of the things, Lori, if I can interject for a second, one of the questions that is commonly asked in terms of the family, I want to, get through this and go on to some other things, but not only were there a lot of small children in the house, it has become public knowledge in terms of, number one, everybody knows Jarvis Butts, who is been identified as the suspect in this crime, and of course, as of today, has been bound over to trial to face all of those charges and even increased charges. The prosecutor added, or it upgraded, I think it's the better term, a charge today. So we are grateful for that. But one of the questions that I get a lot in the comments is asking about the grandmother's history in terms of her having her own children and how she was able to get foster children, and then was Jarvis Butts living in the home or not, things like that. If you guys could clarify for us, whatever information you can share, because of course this is still an ongoing investigation, so we don't want to say anything that's going to interfere with that process. But anything that you guys can share in terms of the dynamics of the home, as far as the access maybe that Jarvis had to the children. You said how many children were in the house, but again, like I said, with the public already being aware that there was issues with the grandmother, would you either one of you know how she was able to bring in foster children in the home?
You want to answer that, Kewana? You want me to answer it?
It don't matter. You can answer.
Lies. She lied.
Just her family.
And I'm assuming that foster care didn't do a very good check on her when she was able to even get custody of ZIYAH and her brother, as well as not when she was able to get the other foster children she has cared for, as well as the 2 children that she fostered and has adopted.
And also, I would like to add, we found that she had only made them aware that she had 2 children, and she has more than 2 children.
So I don't know if cases were missed from that. I'm not sure. But
she has 7 children, and from what I understand, I have people I know who work in foster care and things like that. They ask you about your children. They want to interview your children, see how your children are, how they turned out, where they like with, what type of upbringing they had. Well, unfortunately, her 7 children, the first one ran away at a very young age. The second one, he stayed home till 18 and went to school.
So her first child is Naziah's mother. She just said that she ran away at a very young age.
Then Ziya's mother, she has had some difficulties in life and ran away at 13.
Oh, okay. Ziya's mother ran away at 13. So I thought Ziya's mother was her oldest child. Okay.
Then the next child ran away at 16. Then the next child left at 17 or 18. And they just all have been going through some triumphs in their life that we feel they would have never had to go through if they had had better parenting.
So make it make sense that she was allowed all of these kids if she didn't take care of her own children. Make it make sense. But this is her family, y'all.
This is one reason why my father, my father and my grandmother tried to help Annette when she was young.
Y'all heard it. Now this is the lady right here. 42 years old. She's the great aunt of ZIYAH. Now listen at what she say.
And she wasn't receptive to the help that she received. My grandmother and father got her 11 years old.
11.
She was pregnant.
Pregnant.
My grandmother helped her get a hood home.
See, that lets me know, like, who did this to her? Like, what if that happened to you at such a young age? Why would you do the things that you're doing? You know the dangers. I mean, come on, man.
Pay for attorneys to help her get her baby because he ended up becoming a ward of the state because she was so young. And Annette just continued to be.
So her kid became a ward of the state because she was so young. The grandmother.
Promiscuous and things like that. But she was a victim of a lot of trauma herself. So her children, they have some issues too. Everybody got their problems, but it's to the extreme.
If I may ask, Deborah, I'd like to ask this question: how did the alleged accuser? How did he even come into contact? I'm trying to figure out how did she get in contact with him? She lived in one residence, and he lived in another. What was the connection of the contact?
As far as Naziah?
Yes.
My niece, her aunt Shannon, that was her boyfriend, the father of her children. Wherever Shannon was, he was.
Okay. So I guess a lot of the people, I'm getting some people are digging me on the other end, but they're trying to understand. They thought that the child lived with the aunt.
No, Naziah was living with her grandmother, Annette. But Shannon was always over Annette's house prior to moving back in with her. I think she moved back in maybe August or something of 2023.
So she had just moved back in that year.
Living in a townhome that I let her live in. She was living in a townhome. It's a Section 8 townhome. I incomed out of it when I graduated from nursing school. I signed it over to her thinking it would be a stepping stone to help.
Now this lets you know that these family members, they were close family members. I mean, you got to be close to have a low income that you keep open just for family members to use as they need, possibly. But she ended up losing it because of this dude right here who was just using her. That's it.
For her children. And we would keep it in the family, and maybe the next person who needed a stepping stone to go finish school or whatever can use it. Well, Shannon got evicted from that townhome because of her and her shenanigans with Jarvis. So she ended up having to move back in with Annette sometime in August or September of 2023. That's how she got back in the home with Annette. But prior to that, Naziah was with Shannon all the time in her home.
See?
And Jarvis was where Shannon was.
See? So she was with her all the time anyway. And this guy had access to her. He had unsupervised access to her probably. Because all she had, I mean, this dude was doing stuff in front of the other kids. I mean, there is no limits for these people like this. All she got to do is go to sleep and he'll be right there. Just sick, man.
When he was with Shannon and not the others that he was with.
Does anybody know?
Right. When he was with her and not all the other girlfriends that he had. Because it was one person that testified was saying that he didn't come to her house until like sometime he would come straight after work, but for the most part he wouldn't get there until like 8 or 9 at night, and then he would leave like at 2 in the morning. Like, I mean, this dude, they was just letting this dude have it his way, and he knew the ones to mess with, I guess.
How he was able to stay in the house with minors, being that he had been a sex offender, even imprisoned.
We were told that he was no longer on parole and that he could be around children. But I thought the law was that you can't even live in the vicinity of school. So how is it?
So the part that they gonna say about him, which is weird, how did he ever get off the sex offender list? Why? I mean, they said it was a period of time. He hadn't reported since 2019 or something. They end up calling to get him back on there. But they knew the whole time what his record was. This Shannon that got kids by him. So you see, this is his offense right here. This is just a matter of looking it up. They could have found it if they didn't know, but they knew, allegedly. So the date of the offense was 11/29/2004. He was sentenced October 31st, Halloween 2005. And he was released January 4th, 2014. And he didn't waste no time getting right back down to business of his business, as usual, as Chester the damn molester.
To live in a house with children that are not yours, which it really didn't matter if they was his or not. He violated them. So
That's sick.
That's what we were told. Most recently, when all this stuff happened, they said that's why.
Yeah. So go ahead, Kewana. We were told that most recently, and also I was told that upon me calling Protective Services while Shannon was living in Clinton Township, my question to them was just that: why and how is he allowed to be around the children? Because we kept constantly being told that they're not finding any signs of abuse, and so that was one of my questions. Well, there's a pedophile in and out the home, basically living there, on a regular basis. Isn't that enough? And that's what they told me, that it wasn't.
I want to get off into that too in terms of the CPS cases. I want to cover that, but now I think I remember correctly, and you all correct me if I'm wrong, that there was something, or at some point Jarvis was not on the registry, sex offender registry. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, when I initially found out that Jarvis was a sex offender, it was almost 12 years ago.
Wow.
And I asked Shannon about it. She didn't tell me. I stumbled over it because of a situation where he had
Thanks for coming in, Ella.
daughter in his custody at that time. He had the child, and we had to go get the baby because he got arrested. So I was looking him up to see what he got arrested for. Then it popped up his oldest information saying that he was a sex offender and had sexually assaulted a child under the age of 13. And I looked.
See?
And Shannon, I was like, Shannon, he's a sex offender. Yeah, he said the girl lied.
See? She knew and did not care, man. Don't you know it ain't no healing that? It ain't no correcting that. Not at all. Do y'all believe that you can correct that? Get out of here. Something had to have happened to him when he was young. I mean, that's my assumption. Usually that's what it is. Of course, it ain't no freaking excuse.
I'm like, it says the girl was 13, and then I did the math on his age. I said he was 24.
So he been doing this. He was 24 and the girl was 13. Same age as ZIYAH.
Yeah, but you know, he did his time. And I'm like, nah.
Y'all hear this mess. But he did his time. I want some kids with some good hair. Man, get out of here. Oh, let me hit play.
I was like, you need to leave him alone. Over the course of the years, I would tell her, you need to leave him alone. He was not good to her. He did not treat her well. He did not teach his children well at all.
Wow.
He bothered them.
He didn't treat her well or the children well, but she steady with him. Having kids, 5. He got over 20 kids.
Created him, but he was not a father figure that I would have tried to hang on to for the kids. But anyways, I called I looked on the sex offender registry and saw that he was not on there. So I called. And that's when they went after him, and eventually, maybe about 6 months later, he had a report, they registered him, and he ended up on the sex offender registry.
I'm just trying to figure out, how did he end up off of it? Like, how does that work? Why do somebody have to call to have him put back on it when he should have never been taken off? I'm confused at that whole process right there.
Supposed to be on the registry the whole time.
The whole time, and this was like 12 years ago.
So I want to read this because somebody named Khalil posted this on social media, and they said, they said the aunt stated that she knew about every pregnancy he had with other women outside of her, which means she knew about ZIYAH being pregnant. So she found out about the baby daddy and ZIYAH relationship after going through ZIYAH's tablet and seeing messages between her and Jarvis. Instead of you turning his ass every which way but loose and contacting police, you send him a text stating, "I'm good. I know what's going on with you and Tuda." And then now I don't know where they getting this information from, but then they said the week of January 9th, you said your niece ZIYAH asked you where was Otter Drive and Balfour before her school. Before her school was teaching them about their surroundings. You responded to her saying, you know exactly where that's at, but you also said that was where you would pick up and drop off the father of your children, Jarvis. Fast forward to the day your niece didn't come home from school, you told the others in the household not to contact police because you're going to do it in the morning. She also said they put up flyers when ZIYAH went missing after being told to do so by the police. Make it make sense. You wanted her good as gone. Y'all trying to protect this clown along with the other adults involved. You sorry, POS. F all y'all. I pray to God the other victims okay. Alrighty.
Get this. His last report is 2019. He hasn't reported the sex offender registry since 2019. So he probably wasn't reporting it very often in between those times either.
Oh. Yeah. So you said he fathered some children. So you're saying that in the time frame that he was with your stepsister?
No, he was with my niece Shannon.
Your niece Shannon, that he actually fathered some children in the home or outside the home?
He has 5 children with Shannon. It was almost 6.
Almost.
Okay. And okay.
There's a question though that popped up as well in the comment section about him having 13 children.
He has more than 13.
I've listened to other podcasts covering the story, and I heard the number 20.
He has more than 20 children.
That's
he has more
disgusting.
than 20 children.
He has adult children that are almost the age of Shannon.
That's
wow.
crazy.
What is she in her early 30s, right?
Shannon's 31, I believe.
Yeah.
And I think his oldest daughter is around the age of 26, 27. He's my age. He's 42.
Yeah, because even the judge said it in her ruling that he had 13 children. And I think it came from that interrogation he did with the detectives. And I guess maybe he only claims 13 of them. But
That's his number. He says that all the time.
Oh, yeah. I thought I remembered hearing the number 20. But as far as that is concerned, he has other children with underage girls.
From what I understand,
right?
Yeah, from what I understand, his older children were all with girls in their teens, and he was in his 20s.
Yeah.
And then along the time when Shannon was dating him, they was going back and forth with each other. There was a young lady who was like 18 who said that her child was his. I don't know whatever came along with that, but yeah, just possibly she's one of the young ladies that's listed on the Friendly Report registry.
So do you think, Deborah, please don't let me get ahead of myself, but I have to ask this question. Did ZIYAH, did she ever show or talk or say anything to anybody? I mean, any hints, the world wants to know. I mean, this is a young 13-year-old child. And from my understanding, this took place A year ago today.
She told. It all started, my issue, me and Shannon were thick as thieves. I love the children. I would go around, went to Disney World, we traveled together. Then she called me and told me that it was a birthday party in February of 2022 for her second daughter's birthday. And most of the children, pretty much all the children were at the house, the grandchildren. There's one little girl who was another, Annette's other sister's daughter was there. Now, this child had never been around Jarvis alone before. I think she might have been at the birthday party or something, adult birthday party, but it was at a hall. But she was at Shannon's home, and this young lady was so afraid. Shannon's telling me this. She ran upstairs, frantic and afraid and scared, and wanted to go home and wanted to call her mother because Jarvis touched her inappropriately while she was in the basement playing with the puppy. Wow, this little group. Now, Jarvis was on the game. He wasn't thinking about going up there with Shannon or nothing. Shannon says all of a sudden, while she's up there, she's trying to calm this little girl down and talk to her. Jarvis comes and knocks on the door and says, "What's wrong with her?" And I said, "Shannon, why are you calling me? Is he dead or is he in jail?" No, he left. What you mean he left? Call the police.
Now y'all hear this. Now they are well aware of what this dude was, what he is, and all of that, and they just let him have his way. Like he was like he was in a candy store, and he knew that he could get his way. A little girl come and tell, and you just do nothing. And so this is what made them ultimately fall out.
Let them know where he's going, what car he's in.
Right.
Well, I'm about to take her home, then I'm going to call my mama. What? So I called her back like maybe 30 minutes later. Like, did you call the police? No, my mama said bring the kids home tomorrow morning. She going to talk to them. I'm like, no, y'all don't need to talk to them. You need to contact the police. She did not contact the police. I found out later the police were never contacted. The next day when I called Shannon, I talked to her. She said my mama talked to them and said the kids ended up telling us they lied. They was mad because he wouldn't give them no money. So I called Annette and I said, Annette, are you guys going to call the police? She said, yes, we're handling. I'm going to call the police. So I left it alone. Like, she going to call the police. Shannon assured me that the police had been called. They were involved. There was an investigation going on. All of this. This was in February 22. Well, in April of 22, I called Shannon in a lie. The police were never called. The children were not receiving counseling. Nothing had happened. So I went to the Clinton Township Police and I told them that I wanted to make a report. They told me I couldn't make a report because I didn't have enough information about the child who actually accused him of the sexual abuse. I said, but the other children also accused him of sexual abuse. They said, well, they didn't happen that night. And I'm like, she said, it would probably be best for you to call CPS. So I called CPS, and I told Shannon I called CPS. I said, if y'all didn't call, I told you to call the police. I told you to get the kids help. You didn't do it, so I'm calling CPS. I'm not only you, but I'm calling them on your mama too. Because it happens, whatever's happening at your house is most likely happening at your mother's house. They never called. And then that's when Kewana got involved. I didn't, my husband knew what was going on. And a few other people who knew Shannon because she had told them stories. But this is how Kewana got involved. So I'll let Kewana tell what happened on her end.
So then I end up going over there to drop off ZIYAH some clothing. And once I got there, Shannon pulled me to the side and said, I got to tell you something. And I go, okay, what's going on with cuz? And she said, that Jernell and called protective services on me and lied and said that Jarvis was doing something to the kids. I said, what?
So this is Jernell that she's talking about now. She was just talking. And then this is Shannon, who she's talking about, the baby mama of this Jarvis, 5 kids by this dude.
What? What do you mean she called protective services to say Jarvis was doing something to the kids? How would that come about? So that's when she went to tell me, it was a party. And she explained that what happened at the party and that they ended up questioning the children, and her daughter, along with ZIYAH, along with my other little cousin, which I've never met, had expressed to her that Jarvis offered them monies to do things inappropriately. She said, however, she found later on that her daughter was lying. And I said, You know, Shannon, kids don't lie about stuff like that. But a child not gonna come and tell that something like that happened and just be lying. You know, you need to further investigate. No, that Jernell just trying to start some stuff. You know, I said no, I don't feel like she's trying to start no stuff. I feel like she care and concerned about what's going on in the household as far as the children. This is outside of you and her relationship. This is about looking out for the children. And so we began to go back and forth. And I became, you know, what she like to call it, being as though now I'm taking up for the kids. So I contacted Jernell and said, you know, what's going on? Because we hadn't talked for a little while. And I said, you know, explain to her what I had heard and what Shannon had said. And she told me what happened and what transpired. So that's when I called Protective Services.
Could you tell me the length of time it was before either one of you called? Because it seemed like it was a long stretch before
the initial incident
Protective Services was notified.
The initial incident happened in February of 2022. I was told that the authorities were involved. When I found out that the authorities were not involved, Shannon was lying to me.
22 or 24?
22.
Wow. Okay.
So in April of 22, I figured out another incident happened where a child was doing some sexually inappropriate things. And I said, well, what's going on with the case? And isn't she in counseling? And you need to go to the police and take the phone. She sent the pictures to somebody on Instagram. She had told somebody else. She tell people this stuff like it's nothing. Like it's the normal everyday thing. She told somebody who ain't even related her to this story, and they called me to tell me what she said. And then I called her to ask her about it. So that's when I called CPS in April when I found out she had lied to me.
April, which year?
2022. So then Kewana called me. I don't even think it was like maybe 3-4 weeks later. Kewana called. Other family members had already called and were calling when all of this was going on because I wasn't getting any response from CPS. The CPS worker that I talked to told me the children denied it. I said, so look at the adults. If the children are not going to tell you I said, would you take the children out of the household to question them? No. I'm like, because they're afraid to say anything because they're in the Shannon looking right in their face. Then I said, if the children are not going to tell it because they're afraid, then start looking into the adults. Well, we haven't found any credibility of the complaint.
See, now that's the problem. You got family members trying to tell the truth about what's going on in the household, and they do nothing. These kids was failed all the way around. I mean, and to me, they shouldn't even be no kids in that house. So one thing that I wanted to say, they somebody started a group on Facebook called Justice for ZIYAH, and I'm gonna read some of the things that people are saying. Do anybody want to call in, give your opinion about what's going on here? Let me know. Y'all could definitely call in. I would love to hear from y'all. Angela said, I grew up in the same county where the victim lived. Is so many grown-ass men running game on our young teens. Sometimes the families look the other way if the older man is buying things. Man, that's crazy. When you said that, it made me think about Hollywood. You know, a lot of, speaking of Hollywood, it's on fire, or it was. Like, yep. People be knowing, and long as they can get something out of it, they don't care. They'll act like they don't see what they do see. That's really sad. I mean, to me, anybody that, first of all, if you 40 some years old doing this, that mean that you can't even handle a woman your own age. Usually they don't have nothing going for themselves. I mean, they really don't. They are sorry. I mean, it ain't no reform in this. If you find a guy like this, run. I'm talking about as fast as you can. So somebody wrote, I am disgusted with this male. He is definitely a pred. Okay, so at first I thought Shannon could have known, but after watching how she reacted when she saw certain messages, I then knew she was oblivious to what was actually going on. Like, when did they see her face? She comes off as a little delayed to me, slow. He preyed on her as well. The grandmother seems like she's there, but not there, if that makes sense. Because why not go directly to the police department? These kids are living with adults that are living in La La Land. I don't know. This does seem like a level of cognitive impairment. That's how Shannon sounded on live, and Annette been stoic from day one. Annette and Shannon flat out lied the day of the news conference. Oh, and it later came out. Oh, shoot. Man, it's a lot to watch. Let me see something right quick. Let me see what else y'all saying. He has 4 more SA charges filed on him that's pending. Oh my God. Look, I heard, did you hear that one of the fathers tried to attack him in there? And it might have been some more charges after that because of that. Because I don't think that father knew that, all of that stuff. Or if he did know, it was hard to hear. I wish they would televise this completely. I don't like the way the videos are being put out. I'm seeing a lot of people, just random people, posting this trial. And I don't like pulling up other channels. I really don't. Especially without, that's why I told y'all where I'm listening from, but it really sucks that we can't just pull up the right stuff. Now let me see what this post says. I don't think I'm a tackle them dang on. Look, y'all still. So have y'all heard these text messages? Let me see something. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find them text messages, but what I can do, I'm gonna go back to that one where the father was talking and see. Let's see who call in next. We back on Marc DeAndre.
What's going on, Carla? Who's this and where you calling from?
My name is Michelle, and I'm calling from California.
Oh, Michelle.
California. Yay. What's going on, Michelle?
Yes, sir. I have been listening to your podcast. I've been following the news and trying to know just a little bit about the story.
Okay, we gonna move past her.
What's being told, but if we really don't know what's going on, we only going off of hearsay with somebody else. Like, what y'all want us to do? We've been out there looking. It's other people down there. We putting up flyers. They taking down the flyers.
Wait, hold on. Who is this? Hold on.
We've been putting in the.
Who is this?
These sexual predators that's around these children,
These kids and that baby. Don't stop talking. You're running your mouth on the phone and you're running your mouth to Facebook, run your mouth to the public, CPS, the locals. Like, I'm not setting the fuck up for nobody if this was my baby. They will get tired of me. I'm at every precinct, every news station. I'm not stopping until I find out what happened. And then on top of that, if this has been a repeated thing for years and decades, why the fuck you saying something every day? That's what I got to say. I got 2 kids. I got a 6-year-old daughter. My kids don't go nowhere. Family, none of that. Because at the end of the day, you could not trust nobody.
And that's facts.
They don't care.
That's what I'm saying, though, man. I wouldn't let my kids stay at nobody's house because you think that they one way, but they really doing some crazy stuff that you couldn't even freaking imagine. You cannot trust people these days. Yes, and it could be a newborn. I was just thinking that it is actually people out here having children for these people. Did y'all know that? Like literally having them for these people. I heard some female, she was like a prosty or whatever, and she was disgusted with the pregnancy and everything, and she never allowed herself to get attached to the baby at all, and she actually called it a thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so they do this, and then they have them and just hand them straight off to these people. I was sick when I heard that. So it don't even matter, man. And it could be the smallest of the smallest child. They doing that.
Oh, age this, age that. No, ain't no age nothing. If it got a pussy. Shannon and Marquita. Shannon is in here right now.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
Shannon watching. She ain't saying nothing. And that's the one who she living with. This is the baby, the pedophile baby mama. that's in here, and she ain't said nothing. And I tagged her, and she still ain't say nothing.
Oh, she in there?
She the one that is her baby daddy that she bought around, that she had around ZIYAH and all them other kids that's over there. When we found out that he was a pedophile, that's when we put it on blast. When we found out that he was approaching them kids, we put it on blast. We told them to go to the police. We only know what they telling us. They gonna ask us, what evidence do you have to stand on? We only know what people coming to us and telling us. We've been putting it out there. It's the immediate family that ain't saying shit. We never stop. We never stop. We've been saying something about this nigga being a motherfucking pedophile. The nigga was a pedophile.
Good Lord, her language too bad for my channel. But I definitely will say, check out this podcast. It's worth listening to. It's like over 5 hours, but I can't let that play. That's gonna defeat my whole purpose of being live. That is pure evil to have children. Yes, I could not freaking believe it. I was disgusted for a week after learning that people actually do that. Just like the movie Precious, the damn I knew he was a creep and looked the other way. Yes, I did watch the whole trial. Did you? The preliminary. I could not find, I don't like the way they did it. Like, the audio was freaking horrible. Because I would have came live sooner to play some of it, but it was really bad. And then the audio that I could hear without earbuds, it was like somebody else's. But I mean, this pretty much let you know Detroit News 2 is where I've been watching it. Let me see. I don't think I was on. I think I was on Detroit. I was on 7. Let's see. Detroit News 2. Oh, I was on this channel because that's the one that we was just watching. What the judge said. So now that we know that much, now that we know everything, pretty much everything that the judge said was on point when it came down to this mother. Hold on. Before ruling a man.
As far as Fisher, I agree with the people that the case is distinguishable. This is the case regarding a trial.
Hold on, y'all. I'm still looking for something.
One thing I had highlighted in pink was the quote, in this case, there was no physical evidence such as blood.
So it's another case that I have that's that I'm gonna talk about that's gonna pop up after this one. And it's about a missing woman. Let me see. What is her name? Her name is Ashley Elkins. Have y'all seen this? She vanished on the 2nd, and they just took so long to do anything about it. So I got that case coming up too. But I've been live too long on here now to do it. I was like, I'm gonna stay live for about an hour and a half, and then I'm gonna do the other case. That didn't work out. So we're gonna have to save that one for tomorrow, and I'll be better prepared. If I could find some of the text messages, I would play it. But when I tell y'all that, it was so it was disturbing for me.
On January 9th.
Oh, hold on.
Parky, when did you have the car towed down to his shop?
Hold on, y'all.
How did it come about that he?
Say it was both things that I was told and things that I heard.
Okay. Were there heard from Jarvis?
No.
Okay.
I'm gonna put this up right
you had
quick.
already
This is
known
sister.
Prior to
thinking that was Messiah that you saw.
I'm sorry, I'm confused on the question.
So are these things the sources that you have for these reasons? Are they like things that you have personal knowledge of, or are they things that somebody told you about?
these were things that I was told.
This dude got real comfortable.
I'm trying to understand the question that you're asking me.
Ms. Ripley, you're referring to the question before we went into sidebar about her leading up to believing that it was possibly Ziya Harris at the shop, correct?
Yes.
Does that help clarify
Okay.
the line of questioning? Okay.
Okay, so those reasons, those things, are those things that you had known before? Are they based on your observations, or?
Well, these were things that I was told. And after asking the questions that I needed to ask, I came up with the conclusion that it was a possibility that Ziya was the little girl that I saw that day.
Okay. You said that when you were parked at Jarvis's shop, that it was getting dark out.
Yes.
Okay. That darkness, is that maybe the reason why the color on the jacket stood out?
Well, the jacket didn't stand out until I was walking into the gas station behind her because I wasn't really paying attention to what she had on. I just kept seeing her get in and out of the truck, going in the gas station and coming back to the truck, and that's what caught my attention.
Okay, so the movement is what attracted you to it at first?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, Ms. Jussie, you're done testifying. Watch your step coming out of the witness box.
So the next girl is somebody that he was dealing with.
Witness for today, correct?
She kind of got a little smart.
Letricia Johnson?
Letricia Johnson. Oh no, that's somebody. Wait. What the heck am I doing here? This thing acting stupid right quick. Give me a second, y'all.
Raise your right hand, please.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but?
Speak into this mic. Pick it up.
I ain't trying to do that with the side open like that. Man, if you don't get the hell off my screen. Disgusting. Looking stupid.
You do some more? No, just it. I got like 2 more. Whenever you're ready, Ms. Ripley.
Thank you, Judge. Good afternoon. Could you please state your name for the record?
Letricia Johnson.
And how old are you?
31.
31.
And I don't want to know your exact address, but what street do you live on?
Outer Drive in Belfort.
And what kind of vehicle did you drive back in
Wait a
January.
minute. That's the location that I just outer driving Belfort. That's the where I thought, yeah, I read something where they were saying that ZIYAH asked where was that location at? That's the same address. Okay.
24.
Blue Nissan Central.
Okay. And do you recall being interviewed by Detroit police back on August 30th of 2024?
Yes.
And fair to say that was in relation to a Jarvis Butts?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know a Jarvis Butts?
Yes.
Okay. And how is it that you know Jarvis Butts?
He's my daughter's father.
Okay. And do you see Mr. Butts in the courtroom today?
Yes.
And can you point to him and tell me the color of the clothing that he's wearing?
He's right there and he's wearing green.
And Your Honor, would the record reflect the witnesses identified the defendant?
So reflected.
Thank you. And you said that he's your daughter's father.
Yes.
How old is your daughter?
She just turned 2.
Man, they just let this dude have his damn way. Ugh, this is sick.
2019.
Sick.
And how was it that you met him?
I had a flat tire and I went to his auto shop on Warren and Casual, Annette.
Car repair to a baby.
Now, you said you have one daughter with Mr.
That's
Butts. Do you have any
crazy.
other children?
Yes.
Okay. What other children do you have?
I have a son.
Okay. And how old is he?
He's 7.
And that is not a child by Mr.
No.
Butts. Okay. Now, do you recall, we'll take you back to February 15th, 2024. Do you remember that day?
Yes.
Okay. And what happened that day?
Police came to my home, asking me if I know Jarvis and have I seen ZIYAH before.
All right. And did you, did they do anything at your house when you were there?
They searched my house.
Did they ever search, on that day, did they search your vehicle?
No.
Okay.
They just looked in there. They didn't do it for, I don't know if that was what you call a search of them looking inside.
Was there ever a time that you allowed Jarvis to use your vehicle?
Yes, one time.
Okay. And which vehicle? 2 times? Okay.
Ms.
And
Johnson, can you speak up just a little bit louder?
2 times.
Thank you.
in which vehicle was that?
The Blue Nissan Sentra.
Okay. And I showed you a PowerPoint before of 197 photos of a Nissan Sentra. Do you recall seeing those photos?
Yes.
Ms.
And
Smith, can you hold off one moment for the court reporter?
oh, sorry. Yes. Do you recall me showing you the photos of a Nissan Sentra before?
Yes.
Okay. And
It's always
In showing-
it is always a coffer in the court proceedings. Always somebody hacking all over the paperwork. And we got paper shifters and bad audio usually.
you those photos, did those fairly and accurately depict how your Nissan Sentra looked back on August 30th of 2024?
Yes.
Okay. Now, well, first I'll move for the admission of People's Proposed Exhibit 11, the PowerPoint of the Nissan Sentra.
Any objection?
No objection.
It'll be a minute as People's Exhibit 11?
Thank you, Judge. May I publish?
Yes.
Now, when you let Jarvis Butts borrow your vehicle, did it look? Oops, sorry. Did it look how it was photoed?
The back was messed up, but the front was good.
Okay.
It was fixed.
So back in January of 2024, your car still had the front end?
Yes.
Okay. Is that the only difference in how it looked
On
from?
the photo, yes.
Okay. So that's the only difference in how it looked from January of 2024?
Yes.
Okay. When is it that Mr. Butts borrowed your vehicle?
January 9th.
Is that the first time?
Yes.
Okay. And you said there was a second time?
Yes.
When was that?
I think it was either the next day or the day after that day. I don't remember.
Okay. The first time, let's talk about the first time. How did it come about that he borrowed your car?
He called and asked if he can use my car to do something with his son.
Okay. And when is it that or how did he get your car?
I didn't get home till about 9 o'clock, and he came to my house to pick
Okay.
my car up.
Is that 9 a.m. or 9 p.m.?
9 p.m.
9 p.m.? Okay. And you said he came to your house and picked it up?
Yes.
Okay. To your knowledge, did Mr. Butts say how long he was going to borrow your car for?
No,
Okay. Did you have a reason, a time where you expected it back?
at least 2 hours.
Okay. When did Mr. Butts return with your car?
The next morning.
Was this normal, abnormal?
No, not normal.
Not normal? Okay. And did Mr. Butts say what he was doing when he had your car?
No.
Okay. Did you notice anything different about or in your car after his use that first time?
No.
Okay. Did you notice anything in the back seat that was different?
There was a pair of glasses that was left that my son was playing with at the time.
Okay. And I'm going to show you. In People's Exhibit 11, photo 37. Where at would your son be sitting?
On the passenger side.
Okay, in the passenger.
On the back seat.
So, you can kind of see it better in photo 41. He would sit behind the passenger seat?
Yes.
Okay. Describe the glasses that he was playing with.
I believe they were clear around the frame part. I don't know what the ends look like, but I do remember they were clear around the frames.
Okay. And I want to show you what's already been introduced as People's Exhibit 12.
Yes.
Is there anything in People's Exhibit 12 that you recognize?
The glasses.
Okay. How is it that you recognize those glasses?
They were clear just like that. The one my son was playing with.
Okay.
He had his type that he would go after.
Now,
big girls.
you said your son was playing with them in the back seat. How did you get them from your son?
I told him to give them to me because I didn't know whose glasses they were.
Okay. How is it that you come to ask Jarvis about these glasses?
Well, my son was playing with them when I was with Jarvis at his shop.
And I guess
the next day I went up to the shop and my son, picking my son up from school, Jarvis was see his daughter and my son was playing back with the glasses.
Okay. From when Jarvis had borrowed your car and returned it to you picking up your son from school. Had anybody else borrowed your car? Okay. So you're at the shop.
So he was with these people, and yeah, she's 31, older. You know, he like them young, younger than him, to have babies for him to tamper with. And he has a certain type. The ones that praise him, I guess. The ones that's grateful to have him. This dude, some of these pictures, he looked like a clucker. I don't know. This one picture that I'm looking at, he looked like he was on something other than whatever he be on. I don't understand how they went to bed and thought they would just wait till the next morning to look for the child. What the hell is wrong with them? Very good question. I wish I knew. I mean, it just seemed like they should be held accountable for this too, because they didn't do nothing to look for this girl, and she didn't show no signs of being this type that just ran off and didn't nobody know where she's at. They always knew where she was, allegedly. Something to think about, man. This is something that I'm looking at. This is how somebody is feeling on social media, and they said that I've been following this case and I've never been so disgusted and saddened in my whole life. This is a 13-year-old baby groomed, RAP'd, impregnated, and unalived by her aunt's baby's father. 5 kids by this dude. While watching the preliminary court proceedings, we learned that the baby didn't stand a chance in the care of her grandmother and her aunt. They need to be locked up too because they knew. No way they didn't. I mean, they were sending them over there to him. All the kids, a couple of them. This baby never ran away or comes home late. The day she went missing, they didn't look for her. They took their ass to sleep and said they would look for her the next day. The whole time she had been with him and has never been heard from since. Now, not only was she with him, but he was taking her around town because somebody had made a point, like if they even would have looked for her after 6. He didn't go to the river or wherever till 11 o'clock. And I believe that she got put in that water because that's one of the ways that they make stuff disappear. I mean, but to never find her and he ain't talking either. I don't know. Let me keep reading. Okay, so the grandmother got her worthless ass on the stand and lied. This is how people are feeling about the grandmother, the household, period. She got on there and lied. She never, talking about he had never been inside the house, which he most definitely did. I mean, the judge said it really well, the way that she read the room. Of course he was in a damn house. And so mind you, this person said, mind you, her slow ass daughter has 5 kids by this man. Not only she low-key tried to play crazy when they asked, did she see him in the courtroom? The other kids in the household said he be there and that he's always like ZIYAH to do things for him. He always liked for her to do stuff for him, ZIYAH. There were so many adults who testified seeing this man with this baby often and no one questioned anything. Now that's true. We got, I mean, now the sister and the other people that seen him is not like, I mean, they are, one person said that they was getting the mother car fixed, but like, I don't know, I gotta listen to it more, but for anybody that I think that would know something was wrong, it would be the man that was working at that he had the shop with, where he was bringing those kids to. I mean, he probably was inside. I heard the guy saying something about he was talking to ZIYAH in the car. So what else was going on in the car? You know, that was just because I didn't listen to it yet. I still got to listen to it. But yeah, so all of these people knowing this guy's record. I mean, did his partner know what type of guy he was a partner with? Did his sister know the type of brother that she had? Because immediately you should have said something with a little girl being with him. Who would want a child, a little girl roaming around a shop anyway? Why would you want kids hanging around there? That's not a place for little girls. Maybe a boy that you're trying to teach something. I don't know if he targeted boys too. I don't know. I haven't heard that, but it's very possible. I don't think he discriminated. It didn't matter for this guy. And so yeah, all of the adults are seen. And one of the craziest things to me is them revealing that she could be calling him to get her pads. Like, yeah, and you got these are women that she stayed with. Why was she even asking him for pads at all? He sound like he didn't have nothing. He sound like he didn't even have gas in his damn car. Well, dang, did he even have? No, he didn't even have a damn car. He had nothing. So, and he probably thought he was big-ish working at the shop, because that's how he met women also. That's how he met her, the one on the screen. Then it says after grooming her for years, she became pregnant and he was trying to give her a home abortion. See, that's how you know he was broke. He didn't even have money for that. I heard her saying something about a morning after pill and all of that. But yeah, he couldn't show up at no clinic with her. You got a lot of explaining to do. He had so many searches on his phone about it. Yeah, not to mention the cell phone. The cell phone placed him in the area where her clothes and shoes were found. Her body has never been found, and he refuses to talk. This person said, I never wanted someone to get handled behind bars like I want him to be handled. She was one of many victims, but only one who lost her life due to grown-ass adults being oblivious to what she was going through. This man is an absolute monster and deserves death for what he did to this baby. I believe that he been getting touched, because he definitely... Now, her testimony is, I mean, basically she was just testifying that he used the car, the glasses, the glasses that she was last seen in, which is these. That was her last picture in school. And then you can see behind her some little boys that's her age, which at 13, you shouldn't even be thinking about no boys yet. But when you got a grown-ass man who got a overgrown woman that he could have did everything with, he decided that it's just sick, man. It's just sick. Everybody don't deserve to be around your kids. And everybody don't even deserve to be in your presence. If you dealing with people like this, man, you should not even have children at all. And you definitely shouldn't be having nobody else's kids, foster kids, adopting other folks' kids, and all of this. And your household is just, money can't be that serious, man. It cannot be. Waving by. See, oh, you leaving? See you later, TBZ. Thank you for coming in. But yeah, this is just one of those cases that I definitely wanted to come in. I'm trying to figure out, like, this picture right here, though, y'all. This don't even look like the same person. I definitely want to put this in, because who is this? He looked like he 52 on this picture. When was it? This picture looks so off. Y'all had to have seen this one. Let me see. Oh, no comment. I probably won't even be able to get to put this in here. Maybe I'll put it on the thumbnail, but he looked like crap. But one thing about it, though, social media is not playing with them at all. The defense attorney made an excellent point. He didn't threaten her. Nah, I ain't gonna even read that one. Trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. He did it. His record showed that he did it. his phone, all of his searches. He definitely did it. You know how some people, I'm understanding that it's a lot of desperate women out here, right? So you know how people be looking for proof to find out if they man cheating or not. These are the type of women that don't want to know. You know what I'm saying? They just close their eyes and then end up being upset with the kid that he messing with. They become competition for you. But it's some sick people in this world, y'all. But that is we've been live for over 3 hours. We're gonna go ahead and get out of here. I am speechless at this point. I wish I could have found a video for the text messages, but I could not. And I see that y'all wanted to see them, but y'all might want to check those out on your own. It's a lot. It's a lot with those, and it's a lot to play. But I would have played a little clip if I could have found it, though. But we will keep up on this case. We'll follow it through. I won't be doing live while the trial is live, but when it's over and I can speed it up and listen to certain parts, we'll do that. But after this live stream, another one is going to pop up, and it's the live stream that I'm going to do tomorrow about Ashley Elkins. It's a lot of information about that case. So thank y'all so much for hanging out. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel if y'all have not. And we're going to get up out of here. Y'all have a great rest of the day. Smack that thumbs up, y'all. Thanks, BFF. Please be sure to subscribe to the channel. Wow. Peace and love, y'all. We out.